Good morning and welcome to today's live show. We do have those new updated weekly expected moves and daily expected moves right there on your chart. Daily expected moves always are in red. The weekly expected moves are always in purple. So check those out for the SPY right now. As you're getting those on your charts, just a quick blip to confuse you for a second, to take your mind off of those numbers for a second. Something that I think will be really important is obviously paying attention to Thursday, right? We see little bits of data coming in throughout the week, and there are some things that we could pay attention to, but for the most part, price action and GDP is going to be important. As GDP, remember that the inflation kind of got ditched and people were, I believe, starting to price in some sort of recession in the bond market. And now we see that big drop in the market. So we do need to be paying attention to the GDP. As that is supposed to come down, people might freak out about that a little bit, right? And kind of an overreaction a little bit. That is coming down from 3.1 to potentially 2.3 on Friday. Or on Thursday, I apologize, Thursday. And then on Friday, this will actually be good too, because we'll see the personal income versus the personal spending. And so this will really give people, at the end of the week, we'll have a pretty good idea of like, hey, are we seeing that economic weakness? So I thought that was interesting. As of right now, we can see that the important levels to watch for the SPY this week are going to be that 595 and 620 is the call level. So that takes us outside of our weekly expected move. So something we would more pay attention to is that 595 level, which we actually can pay attention to today. That is a level that we marked off that we might want to bounce from as well. So we will be watching this. This is the daily chart. It has confirmed, and we're looking for, can we get some kind of 30-minute little move to the upside to get us out of those oversold conditions, maybe to go retest that 5-day moving average, and then we'll see what happens from there. Good morning, ladies. Can we get a deeper pullback from this level? Yes, but you're always going to see those little bounces. Like, those little bounces will take place like almost all the time to the downside, okay? When a stock is going up, this market is very bullish. Let's put it that way, right? It's more likely to be a bull market than a bear market all the time. Like, that's how this market's been forever. So if you're heading up, you can see that like waviness down kind of thing, but the stock can continue to go up and squeeze. A lot of the time in the downside play, there's always people trying to catch the bottom because the market most of the time goes up. So when you're heading down, you are actually much more likely to see those bounces actually come, and less likely to see that squeeze behavior to the downside, unless you're actually seeing like a stock market complete meltdown or crash, if you will. But if this is going to behave like a confusing market, like I think it will in 2025, then I think we are not going to see any kind of flush, and it's less likely to see that kind of MACD behavior. It doesn't mean you can't end up aggressively down. It just means a lot of the time people will try to catch these things and then see it go lower, and then catch it and then see it go lower. And then right when they actually go, okay, I'm not catching this anymore, that's when it starts to turn around with a bigger bounce. That's just how this stuff goes most of the time with downside plays. That's why if you notice when I do short something, I am very quick to sell it if it hits target, right? If it hits target, if it looks like good money, I sell it pretty quick, because people it's almost like an addiction to trying to buy the dip, right? There is an addiction, and it's worked for a long time, but is it going to continue to work as we're running into these problems throughout? So if you needed the levels for the Qs, by the way, we do have those levels for you. 540.44 to the upside. We do have 511.72 to the downside. I like milk. What up? So Pablo, you can see deeper pullbacks, but we need to understand like those pullbacks, if they have basing out signals still, I think we want to be reacting to that. But hey, take it with a grain of salt, do what you want to do, but I'm just thinking, that little guy in my head keeps tapping me. He keeps tapping me on the shoulder and going, hey man, just leave that 1% open in case you see a reversal signal, and that's it. Let's get that dub, Carter. Waiting for price action. Yeah, I mean, at this point, that's pretty, yeah, you're going, okay, the 30-minute probably is going to bounce from here, right? Any technical analyst that saw something like this, they should immediately just be like, okay, it's overbought. We can see some kind of 30-minute reaction. Because everyone tries to buy dips, we could see some kind of 30-minute reaction. And then what's nice about ours is we know, like, hey, that reaction could get all the way to 531.58 today. That bigger reaction, if a 2-hour wanted to cross up, could get all the way to here. But the important part with the weekly expected moves is you notice they have shifted down. So you see this room to the downside we have. You see the structure that we could create to get there very, very simply from the Qs. So we'll see if that takes place. Usually the market's not as simple as that, right? Usually we have to see that thing play out, but usually it's more complex than we draw it out. Gold, yeah, I saw gold with the upward move and I was like, damn, that thing is annoying. But at the same time, as long as it's holding all this, and I was more so looking at the futures here, the 2-hour on the futures was about to break out. So this is what I was looking at this morning before we opened up. But we do notice that overall throughout this move, you've gotten these moments of tapering, but they've just led to these little pullbacks. You get this going all the way up, you start to taper off. Okay, now we got to see, are we going to be able to actually crumble here? And the good part about this is, you know, if you're part of Patreon, you know why we're really thinking gold's going to fall right here, right? We still think that reaction to 3,000 in the futures can happen, and then maybe it's a trap. But, you know, if you're part of Patreon, you have a hard line right on GLD, right? You have a hard line for this. You know exactly where we're at with this. So this should not be too crazy. And then you should say, hey, but if something crazy is going to happen, then I'm probably going to see like a 2-hour curl up for GLD. So that's when I'd be more cautious. Something I'm interested in is that 595 level is proven to be important. The other thing that's at that 595 is our channel. Our channel we've been in, right? I've kind of made these with the infinite lines or whatever they are over here to extended line. That way I didn't have to keep moving it or redrawing it. But if you really look at this channel, it's been pretty nice. We've had violations of the channel in both directions. So this would be a time where we need to see if we're going to hold that level or even go down through it and build back up, right? This is where we'll look for those reversal signals. All right, what are you guys looking at? Someone's got to be looking at something. Did I just move that? No. I'm going to take a big old sip of my coffee. Why don't, you know, I feel like Apple, okay, Apple. Everyone going to be like, oh my goodness, look at the 30-minute divergence. Facts, dude. You actually have that 30-minute divergence. So you're looking for that close below the 5. One thing that I will tell you is if you are trading Apple, I was updating my other charts today, you know, updating my weekly expected moves, and Apple has a very, very great level for the downside weekly expected move to get a retest in this zone. I'm just going to give you that as a little hint. If you want to, you can join the Patreon to get those levels, right? Maybe someone in chat will be nice and give you the downward level, but yeah, this area here would be super nice to get to. So doesn't mean it has to, it's just that would be a great 2-hour pullback. And then we trap everyone to turn to the upside with, you know, potentially spending numbers, right? If people see people spending, they're still going to be excited, which is funny because it's like a week ago, you're scared about inflation, personal spending comes in and you're like, oh crap. Now you're like, oh, now we're worried about recession because they tell us to be. And then personal spending goes down and you're like, oh, sick. Yeah, let's forget about inflation. I think I can give you DIA. I mean, I think DIA is falling off a cliff, so I think it's good for people to have. I can give you DIA. DIA down here, 429, 57. And then the upside move is 438, 73. So just so you have that, because this thing, it saw something a little bit crazy there. But you just see how overdone this 30-minute is. So what do you think is very likely for this week then? I think it's likely for DIA to maybe, I mean, it can drop further, but I think it's likely to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, right? And then we actually bounce. That's what it seems like to me, unless we V-shape, right? We could just get some news on Thursday or Friday and see that V-shape take place. No bounce for us just yet. Try to take it kind of like a chill day. Okay, good. Gold's starting to reverse back down, so no management of trade necessary. We like to see that. You think Rivian's inverse head and shoulders? Oh yeah, we do have JP Morgan on the weekly expected moves right now. You think Rivian's inverse head and shoulders is violated? Rivian. What time frame are you looking at, by the way? Just a heads up. I mean, that's got to be a failure, and you're coming below the low. So the only thing that really saves you from here, well, you do have potential to do something like this and fall again, right? We see we're down at a key level, so we can always get that little hiccup to make us go lower. If you start to cut that, you start to curl over daily charts. Ooh, it's probably already curled over here, isn't it? Yeah, it's curling over today. If that's curled over today, I would definitely be saying lower high. I would definitely be saying lower high, and I think you're probably, yeah, you give this up, you're heading down into this little zone right here. And I would say, to be more precise, like a 1030 in that zone would be the only place that I'm really paying attention to. Now, one thing about this, though, is you always want to be paying attention to if you're going to hold up better, right? Because markets are usually bullish. Now, I know Rivian's not the most bullish thing, but we'll see if we're able to just whip back up, right? As long as you are close by that center line, always be paying attention to the daily chart if it just like turns back up in the next couple of days. But for this right now, it tried to take back these levels. It needed to retest down in here and turn back up. You failed that, so the more likely thing is you're heading lower. If you take out this little green bar right here, I think you head down to like 1030. Microsoft puking a bit? Good. No. Microsoft, this is great because we are always aware of this, and this is kind of what we were talking about with the 30-minute, right? We were overall saying with Microsoft, this looks like a great thing, right? Great reversal signals, turns to the upside. Where would we target if it turns up, right? We talked about these things down here. Hey, this would be a great level to get to. This is how it overall, you know, comes back in. And then we see the left head and right shoulder on the 30-minute. But then we said, if you see the 2-hour cross, it can get really bad, so pay attention. And then guess what? The 2-hour crossed right before this absolute bloodbath. Anyone got news on this? Puts in this market are still super cheap. You haven't had people run to the put side at all. I think put premium still hasn't even really gone up that much. Like, if you just go glance over at the CPC, like, just glance at this for a second and tell me, like, what you think. Like, and this is just critical thinking. Like, this isn't really, like, we could go look at data. But look at all the calls still. So you have not, once you see activity up here, puts are going to be expensive. But right now, everyone buying calls still. Yes, for Microsoft. You talk about GLD? Yeah, we talked about GLD a few times. Mainly just seeing how it behaves around that weekly expected move, or I mean, around the monthly expected move, and then paying attention if there's still curl-ups, right? We can still go to that weekly expected move, but I think in the futures for gold, just to be aware, if you see an upside move, I think it's going to be a trap at $3,000 for the futures, and that's not that big of a move for GLD, right? That's you know, 1% maybe for this, so it could be 1% over there, so we'll see. But you still would want to maybe manage in that area. That's what I'm planning on doing. If this thing fully like turns up on maybe a 2-hour, I might be out. I might even do it on the 30-minute because that would be breaking the high. I just think it'll be some kind of trap that then just drops. Ooh, people don't like that, huh? Microsoft, it's bleeding. Now, the good part is we have, well, if I can go over to my actual charts over here and not be messing everything up. Good thing is I calculate some things. So let's go see where Microsoft is at. It was pricing in a big move. Very interesting. So someone knew about this beforehand. What's the IV on this? Did someone know about this? Soft. It's actually not too elevated, just more elevated than usual. So maybe one person had a little hint of that. But we do have a little bit more downside that can happen. I don't know if you want to lose that though. My goodness, that is a rock being thrown straight down. That is crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna see if the 2 hour. I might even just scale in with a second position for that. Okay, sorry, I was talking to myself. This starting to give it up as well. Man, we're not even going to see a 30-minute curl up, really? Is there any hint going on out there? And the funny part is, volatility was up by more than 10%. I forgot to mention that in my video, but volatility was up by more than 10%. So that would tell us... Ooh, monthly cross down, Mr. Pickle. Thanks for keeping us aware, because that's not good. And we only have a few days left in the month, right? Mr. Pickle, this might be bad. This might be even worse. One thing I wanted to look at was volatility starting to turn up. What I'm looking for from volatility is a reversal signal for the short term. See if that pops up. If it doesn't, then we might just get that waterfall of selling to continue. So we're really seeing if this is going to go like this, fail this move in some way. If it doesn't, that's very scary. And oof, I would not want to be... Like I said, for like the last 2 months, I just wouldn't like to be an investor the last 2 months. I would just be too worried all the time. XHB going down. So we even have the, well, the housing sector. We even have the housing sector, which we might have to look at now. I could look at XHB though. I think that's better. Yeah. Yeah, still 1% down. Ugh, just look at that, man. That is just, this is just awful. Weirdly enough, we still want to see if a daily turns up. You're still holding the divergence point, but I think that would just be one of the riskiest things ever. You are filling a gap, so it is potential to bounce from here. We see something pretty obvious. We see a very obvious level about 98.70. We see this, so it always just means whenever I see this, that hey, I should always be open to this, something over here. And then the one way that this probably goes up is if it does a similar behavior, right? You start to see little reactions like this, it gets tight, and then you see that breakout. But if it's going to fail, then most likely you just see like, okay, maybe like one solid move, and then it just breaks down. But we'll see. Doesn't have to even do any of that, right? This thing is falling off a cliff. Yay! Right? Aren't we happy about that? I mean, I'm kind of happy if like things get cheaper. Houses get cheaper. New houses get cheaper. Or they just knock down those new houses because they're built so freaking poorly. Stocks get cheaper. I'm down with all that, guys. That just sounds good to me. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I just want to be like, looks pretty bearish to me. We got daily signals confirming. We got monthlies for Microsoft over there that Mr. Pickles is telling us about that's confirming. Only 4 days left in the month. Seems pretty bearish, but I'm going to be open to 1% that could go up. All right, can you please look at NVIDIA? Oh, sorry guys, I'm missing a lot of chat because I did that thing where my chart's covering up half your guys' freaking messages. Let's look at NVIDIA first, because NVIDIA has earnings, so we know how this goes, right? Who knows what, like, someone would probably be able to type out exactly what I say about earnings all the time. But this is one thing we talked about, some structure and things like that, but just, I don't even want to spend 5 minutes on this giving analysis when that E is there. What I think would be better to do is just really see if people are trying to short the crap out of NVIDIA, and then see what happens from there. Let's see. No, it's like almost even. Most people are just saying the call wall's at 140, and guess what? The put wall's technically at 140 as well. So if you ever wanted a 50-50 flip for an earnings, this one is it. You just don't. Like I said, most likely there's already people who know which way this is going to go before it even happens. But I'm not one of those people, so I don't know that info. So that just tells me, okay, even looking at something that could give me a hint, like maybe the put call levels, It doesn't really give me a hint. There's taller levels of calls and lower levels of puts, but there's more levels of puts. And then the put call walls are at the same point, which is like 140 is where the biggest amount of transactions are. So it's like, it can do a lot of things. Before the earnings, you want to pay attention to this and be like, hey, if you get above that, that's kind of a good thing. Use it as support. But if you get up to here, it's very likely to reject and turn down. So we'll see if it can build up. But then earnings is going to come. And if you're in this area, it is literally as 50-50 as you can get. Sorry, I wish I could talk better about it, but I would just say it this way. And if you have a way to analyze this a little bit better, I think that's awesome. Maybe a fundamental way or something like that, but you know that they could produce good things and bad things could happen. I'm just saying, like me, I see this and then I see this and then I go look at other things, you know, I go look at other things, other data for NVIDIA, and I just go, there's just no good way for me to make a decision. Right? There's no thing that makes me go, oh yeah, puts. There's no thing that makes me go calls. NVIDIA could easily be in a weird spot technically and then save the market. Apple's done that plenty of times. So I don't want to mess around with it, but I will mess around with some fun stuff going on, and that's AMC. AMC with the 30-minute divergence on the MACD, not on the RSI at the same time, trying to see if this 2-hour can turn up. But once again, this is another stock. This is another stock, right? This is another one. Let me go over here and do it. You guys can see the E, right? Dang it. If those E's aren't there, we're liking these signals, but unfortunately, we got to know that AMC could be fought this week. Unless they produce something absolutely insanely amazing and glorious, or the short sellers are just tapped out. That's all I see there. Someone did ask about Palantir. Palantir just dropping off a cliff, still holding that 2-hour divergence point, but this looks really, really ugly. This looks like all of this could end up playing out to the downside. It can. You're going to see bounces and things like that, but you see how we could easily go fill that gap now. And you're back in the monthly expected move with 4 days left in the month. Good job, Palantir. Thanks for coming back into that monthly move so fast. Appreciate you, buddy. All right, let's look over at the SPY, still struggling at this moment. MSTR, yeah, let's go check on MSTR real quick. Actually, first, right before MSTR, I wanted to look at Bitcoin because Bitcoin, oh yeah, and I accidentally held the delete button and deleted half of my freaking things here, so very annoying. But Bitcoin I thought was interesting, because even though we saw the market absolutely vomit, and Bitcoin did that kind of like before, but look what happened while that selling was happening. Like, you're just building. So the fact that you're crossing down here, not a good sign, right? If you confirm that down, then it's going to be like, okay, all this can be distributed down. But originally we were trying to confirm this back up, and this is what I was watching towards Thursday, Friday, and I was like, this does not look like it's collapsing too much. But the weird thing for me is people have kind of said like Bitcoin is like, what, electrical gold, or like, you know, or crypto gold, if you will. And then we saw those reversal signals from GLD. So I just want to be a little bit cautious with this, but if Bitcoin's able to hold up, I want to read into that a little bit for the possibility of the market bouncing. As of right now, we ain't got to worry about that. So we're good over there. But I'm sure MSTR is not having a good time. I'm sure MSTR is not having a good time at all. Now, this is an area, right, where you want to see that little lip maybe, right? So this would be a 2-hour. If you can really see this, you're kind of going, okay, we kind of did something here, but maybe this is the more important level. Maybe we see just some kind of little bounce like this, and then we fail that. I think that's the way to get some buyers to go back in and really trick some people. But as of right now, it's just facing straight down. There's no real reversal signals. There's nothing good here. It's just like you could get an oversold bounce. That's all I see for MSTR. Taking calls at this level on SPY intraday. like I said, the market does like to bounce, but it ain't showing you that bounce quite yet. I mean, I don't even think you've gotten you haven't even gotten a 15-minute to curl up. Like what I'm doing too. And just to clarify, like how I like to do things, I like to be very patient on Monday, Tuesday, especially. Yeah, I'm sitting, monitoring my gold and just going, okay, is that thing going to need to be managed? And that's about it. Do you send out the weekly levels? I haven't received the email. It was on the, it should be on the Patreon. People, everyone, Patreon members, you have those correct levels. I'll double check, but I put it on the Patreon yesterday. I'm gonna double check because that's not good. I want to make sure you guys have that. Yeah, 16 hours ago, we got that up there. So it should be on that front page. Make sure you are, yeah, those are paid messages. But it might, maybe it just didn't alert you or something. Maybe it funked up that time. Unlucky. But yes, it should be on there. If you have a problem with that, Loma, let me know. I left my Patreon login in Florida. Oh, no! Can you change it? You can probably change your password. Oh, well, yeah, you can change your password if you just have your email. Oh yeah, that's right, Bernie. Sorry about that. What up, Bernie? Left that login in Florida. You can probably change the password, but it's possible GME crashes with the market and never supernovas. Also, VIX screaming higher, shorting Unity and SPY, bought UVXY 3 days ago and other shorts. I think it'll be a crash at first, and that's why I actually really like how AMC looks. I actually think that if this takes place, this is how it will work, and we're either going to see an opposite thing or the same thing. And so I think that if you do see GME, say GME crash down, I think the market goes down with it. I think the market, I mean, the benefit here would be if GME and the market actually did crash for a few days, and then GME randomly turned back up. Now that's because people would start to get margin called, and the short sellers would actually have to, like, you know, pay for margin or pay back their borrowings, or maybe they're underwater or they're out of money. All those things can come into play, especially if the market and GME even turns down at the same time, and then if GME is able to just hold up a little bit, right? If the actual retail that's holding a lot of this stock does not sell in this time, and they still believe, like, just in scaling in at lower levels, I think they could get margin called. So you actually potentially do want the market to come down and GME to crash at the same time and set up a very good signal. Wouldn't that be a great signal? Right? Yeah. That's overall, like, how that could take place, but don't take that as, like, gold, right? Don't take that as, like, oh, a for sure thing. Even Roaring Kitty himself, the first time it happened, had no idea how it was going to play out. This time around, I think he kind of has an idea, but the first time it happened, he had no idea how it was going to play out. And so, as this is the first real time I'm paying attention to it, I have no idea how it can play out, but I'm using my historical trading to kind of give me some ideas of how this thing could move. And I would just say the simpler thing is paying attention to momentum, seeing this curl down, fill that gap, and if you make a daily divergence, that'd be great. If you do it on AMC at the same time, wouldn't that be ironic, coincidental, interesting? So I'm like, yeah, why does AMC and GME, who apparently aren't tied together at all and don't have short seller problems, but they always make similar signals at important times. So if they both give a daily divergence, I'll probably make a decision, is what I will say. Lower low for JP Morgan, my goodness. JP Morgan, we do have those weekly ranges up for you. What was it with JP Morgan? Weren't we thinking like a bounce was going to come at some point? Yeah, this was my level to bounce from, but we'll see. I mean, it doesn't have to bounce from there. It's just like the 30 minutes cooking, and it's got that divergence, so this could even be a 2-hour move to go test that 5 because it's very aggressive. So you could see like a counter move here, do something like this, use that little lip. But that's if it bounces. That's if this 30-minute can curl up. This is pointing straight down, so I'm not saying that has to happen. We're just at the level. Morning, fam. What up, Orchid? How you doing? Yeah, Jack Cat's speaking some Jack facts. Chinese stocks taking a dump. Yeah, someone asked about BABA. Let's go look at that real quick. BABA, I really like the level of 120. I think that's a great level. We marked that off a long time ago when we saw these things, but we saw that crazy move up, another crazy move up, and all you did was make another divergence here. Realize this, the 30 minutes still very positive. So if that's able to turn up at any time, okay, but you're losing the 5 this time. You haven't even tested the 5 in a while. So if you actually do lose that 5 on, say, a 2-hour scale here, I think this is where you're actually going to get that 2-hour pullback. You're going to see some consolidation here to either head lower or to make that divergence to head higher. And that's how I'd look at it so far. But I'm just seeing drawn out divergence across. I mean, if we look at the daily chart, we can see that that's really up there and no divergence above it. So it's still very likely to see higher prices unless it just goes through something absolutely awful, which is always possible once you start to get everyone pricing everything good into BABA. Like, right, if it's going up, this is money pricing in things, right? Pricing in something. Pricing in a lot of things, genuinely, because this is a huge run. So if this was, oh, all that's priced in, let's give it up. Ooh, this thing could go all the way down to 102.87 on the daily scale. So a little bit of a risky time for BABA. We'll see what happens with this going forward. Reversing again. God, Samson. Why is that always happening, huh? Oh, sorry, I punched the mic again, of course. Oh. There you go, that JPY. That JPY trying to get that next move higher. We shall see, and you shall not pass. You shall not pass. Sorry. My daughter took my drumsticks and was like, looking like Gandalf all weekend. It was dope. All right, let's get a little coffee in us and get this thing going again. Who's up for it? Who's up for some more looking at stuff? Oh, okay. This is where we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna look at these 5-minute charts because things are being crazy and everyone's losing their minds. We get the gap up, then we get the move down. What if this ends up in the upward direction again? Okay, that's all I'm talking about here. So I want to look at a 5-minute chart for a while. Very unlikely to do this, but I want to see if this 5-minute can catch when the 30 minutes going to bounce. Sometimes it's not a big majority of the time. I would say it's like just over 50% of the time maybe that the 5-minute will show you reversal signals and they will play out. So I want to see if those reversal signals play out in this environment. That's all I'm going to look at. The SoFi head and shoulders starting to play out. We did look over NVIDIA, but Jamie, just keep in mind, NVIDIA, I've looked at the data on it. I've looked at the levels we're at. I've looked at even the momentum. There is no way, like specifically NVIDIA, looking through that, I don't think there is any way, unless you are extremely, extremely good at forward projection and fundamentals and looking at data to assume like what things are priced into NVIDIA. Unless you're really good at that or you're an insider, I don't think you can even get an edge on NVIDIA. I'm just being honest with that. Tesla though, Tesla is interesting to me. I'm actually looking for this. I was looking for Tesla for a potential trade setup, right? And now I have a weekly expected move, which is just fantastic. I have an updated weekly expected move for Tesla, so then I get a good idea of where Tesla could bounce from. And let's just say I have a line like right here, and then we do this, and then we do this. Like, weirdly enough, that could be good. Now, do I want to take that before it confirms? You guys, okay, let me put it into terms if you're going to take something before it confirms, once things are more volatile, okay? So you're going to make this downward move. Let's just say Tesla makes the 2-hour divergence, right? And let's just say I get in when that actually confirms. This means a daily move is coming. This means most likely you're going to see a move like this. So you make money throughout this whole block here. You just miss out on that. This is all you miss out on by letting that confirm. Most of the time. I know we see sporadic things sometimes, but most of the time that's all you're missing out on. Okay, the problem with taking it early is if I take it before this happens, well then it could literally give me a little nudge like this and then just keep going down because we would run into some sketchy areas. Okay, so I want to make sure at least 2 reasons, right? If I want to get in early, it's fine. If I want to not wait for the slow lagging indicator, the MACD, and I'm good at managing my trade, it's still okay to just do price action and RSI, as long as you have other reasons to back that up, like weekly expected move, like divergence, like oversold conditions, completely oversold with divergence, right? All of those things are great. A daily MACD that's super low and a 2-hour divergence shows up, yeah, I'd be paying attention to Tesla if it makes a 2-hour divergence and looking for the price action to at least confirm and the RSI, and then hopefully that MACD is about to turn up right before, and then the next bar takes you through and you just go, okay, now I just need to manage in case something goes wrong. Tesla looks like this is the most likely thing. I'm literally going to pull it up on my other charts. Hey, say thank you to gold. Gold's starting to fall. Where's Tesla chart? So I can draw it up. Right here. We could literally head all the way down another 10 points and still make that divergence. Tesla is something I'm keeping my eye on because this daily has been oversold and it's still holding that divergence point on the RSI, so I think it's interesting. Tesla does see extreme oversold conditions a lot of the time, but look where this MACD is. It's below those times where we are in extremely oversold conditions, especially right here. We're below that. So I'm going, this thing needs some relief or else it is in a crash, right? A lot of people don't understand crashes. Do you guys think Tesla's crashed? I would say it has. That's 33%. So treat this like a crash and treat this like a discount going into this area. And if I see a reversal signal, I'm probably going to take Tesla. I'm not even kidding. I'm going to see if gold plays out first, right? I don't want to do too much, but I do like this right now. I do like this. I like this for the potential to set something up. Now, if it does something like this, I don't like that. I don't like that, but I do like this. Right? That's like almost, that's all you have to do right there. That's it. Literally, the way I drew it, that's like all you have to do to make me happy. Went the wrong way today. Unlucky, Kalani. It happens. It happens. Got a little spank. That's okay. And I get it because this was tricky, right? Because it's very likely to get a bounce. Now, look what we're going into today. Look what we're going into today. This is interesting. The fact that you're not seeing that positivity is interesting. Now what I want to look for is if we see some kind of counter move like this leading into GDP and spending. I want to see if we actually bounce from these levels now. But now that we've broken this, we can use that as resistance. So we'll see if that takes place. But remember this is retail hour. They faked out the upside to really convince retail probably to get bearish. I'm guessing the PCC is actually up now. There you go. And most likely, we hit down in these areas. Maybe we go to a weekly expected move early on in the week, but it's a pretty big range. So if we're going to make a move down, it's going to seem aggressive. So I want to see if this thing goes and then we see something like that. That would be cool. And that would be another move outside of our channel. And then we'd actually be talking about a 2-hour bounce. I think it'd be interesting. Meta's at 666. Fundamentals on NVIDIA are very uncertain. That's true too. It's very difficult to read into those. Both short and long term at these price margins. Yes, its PE is too high. DeepSeek changed the game. Yes. Do you see how complicated it's getting to just like take a play on NVIDIA? Looks like Friday and Monday is now regular sell-off days. It's a very easy trap day. Fridays for expiration, very easy traps, right? Because Wall Street just gets to put big money down, force stocks in a certain direction. They're risking that money. If like retail would step up and put more money than Wall Street, you technically could make Wall Street lose more, but that's almost impossible. And then the other part is the weekend. The weekend is great for traps, and they even gave you a fake out upward gap to just like completely demolish your bullishness. And I think that's what they're trying to do. And that's why I said now, that's why we were down here. And I go, now I'm going to look at the PCC. And since we failed a gap up, people are going to be really bearish, right when we're probably going to get some kind of maybe even aggressive bounce to go retest that 5 on Tuesday or by the end of the day today. When's the bottom for Palantir? Could be anywhere, man. You could end the month all the way down lower. Oh, I don't have the actual monthlies on here. Where the heck was Palantir? You could end the month at $65 and it would make sense. Just to let you know, Palantir is already making a move outside of the weekly expected move and has that 2-hour divergence there. But this is like just like the example we gave with Tesla, right? Is this going to be the play right now as we have a monthly expected move here? And if it does catch that bounce, it's very likely to just close back in this zone by Friday. Is that really a great play? The great play was potentially here, right? But it's just very difficult for Palantir. It didn't give you that cross up, but thankfully it gave you that little curve, and that aggressive sell below the 5 was the opportunity to target the topside monthly expected move. But just to put it in perspective here, I didn't have the confidence to short this here. I thought we could have bounced from right here. So I didn't have the confidence to do it. I had the confidence to do it with JP Morgan because JP Morgan gave you the sell up here very obviously. So just different type of plays, but just to let you know, everyone's bearish now. In the first part of the morning, as we head to the downside, everyone's starting to go bearish. And what did we say about the Qs? The Qs might need to go lower and test that daily expected move. They might need to go lower because they were up here, they need to go down here. I think it's very likely that we could see a potential bounce soon, especially if we're starting to see some things from, and I know I'm bouncing around a lot, but stick with me. I'm on a thought process here, and look at that 30-minute going up to 20. Now we have the 30-minute divergence. So what do you think is going to take place if that plays out to the downside? Well, we're probably going to see a 30-minute bounce. That's potentially what's going to happen. So we're watching it. Now everyone's bearish. Now everyone sees that downward move. Now the Qs are at the key level, right? It's like, at some point it's just like, come on. And the thing is, call side's still expensive because of that. So, because people were bullish for so long. Let's see if we want to do anything here. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Oh yeah, remember we were looking at the 5-minute. That's right. Let's go look at that 5-minute. Remember the 5-minute? The 5-minute divergence that could pop up? Remember that 5-minute? We said, you know, a little bit over 50%, I would say, of the time this 5-minute gets it right. When you see that divergence really close to the center line, that is. If I see this, probably not, right? It caught the tiniest of bounces. I want to see it by the center line. These ones, a lot of the time, at least I would say a majority of the time, I wouldn't say a lot, but a majority of the time, saying maybe 60-40, the 5-minute's able to get this right. So if this 5-minute curls up, I think the 30-minute gets to 605. Just remember there's a put wall there, and you're I think if we go to 605, we might see a gap down on if we go there today, I think we see a gap down maybe on Tuesday. Healthcare stocks are booming. Hey, that's a good thing. Well, maybe. Why are they booming? Right? Is it that COVID 2.0 people were talking about? Palantir is now trying to make that move back inside the weekly. So that would tell us we are very likely to bounce. Apple heading towards the monthly expected move. Very good eye, very good eye. Good eye, good eye. That 250 is what we've been targeting. And then that's where I believe we're going to see that thing probably vomit down to that 236.36. That's what I think is probably going to take place, but we'll see. I don't think it's worth a trade yet, but there might be a trade set up soon. Market goes down and healthcare goes up. More deaths happen during down market. Oh, that's actually very true. Yeah. Well, and that thing is, it's because if you think about it pretty clearly, you're just, at least one point I would make is, oh, well, if something bad were to happen to me while I lose my job and don't have money anymore, or recession, it would be very difficult for me to pay for certain things. So I could see how people's health gets worse. In recession, you do see bigger consumption of alcohol and drugs, so you see a lot more deaths that way. And then obviously with alcohol and drugs, more consumption there, you will see more vehicle accidents, which is a leading cause of death in America. So yeah, there's a lot of things that can cause that short Fridays, and we should genuinely, at least in my opinion, we should genuinely not like celebrate those things, right? So, but we can be aware of them. It's an unfortunate truth. That's how I would put it. Invest in prison stocks as well. Actually, you know, short Fridays, yeah, I think you might be spitting facts today. Spy cheeks are getting busted. I'm sorry, Unleash Matt. I had to read that one out loud. Leading cause in 2023 was fentanyl. Yeah, and thankfully we're clamping down on the cartels. Like, can we at least be happy that we're potentially clamping down? Now, one thing is, we're not only clamping down on the cartels. I want to tell you guys what we're actually clamping down on. That's probably the bigger issue. You guys know that like our government gives Iran billions of dollars to grow crops, right? I think we might have talked about this before, but someone in the chat, tell me, what is Iran's biggest crop? What is the crop they are always farming? Who knows? Someone knows. I know one of you guys know. Poppy. Perfect, Paul. Thank you for saying that, Paul. Poppy. What? Now, Paul, what does poppy make? What does poppy make? Opium. Ooh. Yeah. Poppy, it's just, so pretty much America, heroin. Yeah, America pays, well, hold on. Well, America pays for other countries in a this is the projection, right? This is the what is it? The I'm a good person projection, right? It's I'm going to give this country money. They really need to grow crops. And then you can put it in the post, be like, wow, we're really helping that country. Yeah, and then they just grow drugs that then, do you know, I think it's like 90% of our drugs come from that or something, so. Yeah. It's literally, so I knew it was opium, but I think I don't, obviously, it's a good thing I don't know a lot about drugs, guys, okay? It's a good thing. It means I'm not a huge druggie. You probably wouldn't like this channel if I was a druggie. Opium, a powerful narcotic whose derivatives include morphine, codeine, heroin, and oxycodone. So we get that from Iran, and then they send it to America, and then it's illegally distributed, and our people go through drug problems. And our government pays for that, by the way. It's like an investment. The government, at least the previous administration, wanted that to happen, apparently. We guard them. Oh, I didn't know that. Do we? I might have to look into that, Paul. I like milks, like I like cocaine. I love cocaine, but you like milk. So do you, this is for comedy purposes only, but do you just like snort cocaine and drink milk all day? I gotta ask. Topper padding as 2000? Was 2000, hold on. I thought 2000 was, I don't want to say it because I don't want to be, I'm one of those guys. I'm like, I don't want to be just dead wrong what I say. I thought that 2000 was, okay, I went way too far. That was 98. Well, 2000 would take you into confusion into, but upside into October then. And if this is a moment that'd be bad, it would mean maybe we get a test of the 200 soon, actually. That's how I would see it. Because we never got that test of the 200 from back in the day, at least not fully. So maybe we test the 200 in that almost corrective move, then we turn up. We'll see, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, we can talk about any situation we want. The market can do a million different things, but it's just like, what's actually happening in front of us? And let's go with that, right? Oh, this is a big confirmation on the daily, so we should be aware of downside, downside, downside. But people are addicted to buying dips, so you usually see like some little poppy moves. Poppy. Well, the thing is, and that's why you got to really keep in mind the Cheenies and stuff like that. Like, the thing you should look for is why someone is saying what they're saying. And this is why there's so many people that are critical of the Cheenies. They benefit from war greatly. And a lot of other people do too. So they literally, like, everything that almost any country that's ever fought against us has had usually has our sticker on it. It's kind of like awful. Can Baba hit 118? I don't even know where Baba's at as far as price off the top of my head. I know we looked at it. Baba, big gap down, which means you did leave a gap behind. Can it hit 118? Yeah, if this daily crosses down, you can go to 120. I would pay attention to 120 first, but after 120, I'm really watching this 103.50 or gap fill at $100 per. Okay, so $100 for Baba is more what I'd be watching, but that could take a month to get there. Calls on Amazon. Yeah, Amazon is interesting. Amazon is very interesting at these levels. This is where Amazon, right, the puts are piling on, the SPY's going almost down to a daily expected move, and this is exactly where people will probably get bearish, 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 and look at the 2-hour, look at the 30-minute. This is a very likely place to bounce from. It's one of our white lines. We filled a gap. We came to the breakout area. Very likely just to at least see a test of the 5 here from Amazon. The less likely thing would be the scarier thing, but it can happen. So the less likely thing is this keeps falling through the floor. Right? This isn't the bottom in any way because we don't have bottoming signals. It's actually ramping up. So you'd kind of want to see that bigger move now, because this would mean if we do this and then we drop into it, that's how we actually probably reverse back around, but it's just very worrisome. But for Amazon, this is like, you know, as far as taking a trade, I don't think it looks like an obvious trade unless you're just like taking it based on common sense, which is fine if that's something you do and you manage the trade. Okay, you know, you do what you do with your money, that's fine. But for me, I'm just like, I can be very patient, wait, see the daily MACD going negative, wait, maybe find that counter trend 2-hour move that takes you up to here, maybe even set up a lower high, make that right shoulder that could have been, and then start to collapse. And up in these levels, I'll look for 2-hour divergences if this all happens, and I think that's the better trade setup. With daily divergence above you, we go down to our white line finally. If this thing can get a counter move in any way and then fail, give us that 2-hour divergence in here, that I think is the better trade setup, but we'll see if that even takes place, right? We have to wait for the price action to really catch up there. All right, so still paying attention to the 5-minute, just seeing if this can make an upward move as it confirms potential 5-minute divergence, and then we maybe see a run to that 605, so we'll see. Ponzi nose. Nuclear cyclic. Oklo's tanking? Oh, Oklo's been tanking. Oh no. All right, so what should we be paying attention to? It lost this level. So once it loses this, you see how that wick up came and then we just kind of like lost it? That's not good. Once you lose 42, I would just say 42, that's bad. And you would say, okay, we need to use this in some way, but where's a great level? Well, let's look back for a sec. We got this in here, and with just above that, we probably have this little zone right here that I kind of like. So now if we get to this level, we can catch a bounce, but just be careful if that bounce then fails. Right, if it's just a little 2-hour move to the upside and then we just confirm back down. Because you see this 2-hour completely oversold. We could go a little bit lower down to here where we could make a potential right shoulder, get that test of the 5, then fail. see that curl up, see that curl down, look for divergences, but that would be how it wants to break down. You do have earnings coming up. It looks like we don't have an estimate or anything, so weird from the earnings, but yeah, some of these things not looking too hot, huh? 5 minute though, trying to do its thing. We'll see. I think this is what we mainly need to be watching for right now. I may have been on the inside. Good. Keep telling us that stuff, right? This is what the chat is for. Right? I don't want a chat that's just, you know, spamming nonsense the whole time. I like that our chat are people who can come up with critical thinking skills and look into things and tell us things and make us learn a little bit more. I like it. Nonsense. No, you ever go into those live chats where it's just people like spamming dumb stuff, like just emojis and stuff? I mean, now you guys are gonna spam emojis, but Apple announces 500 billion US investment in bet on the future of American innovation. Probably a good bet in the long term, not right now. They probably could have made that bet after the crash and the money would have went further. But they're probably making that bet now to keep their stock higher or to keep the market higher for Wall Street. Where's the transaction, Noah? I like the chances for a pump. I like the chances for a little 30-minute pump. Who's going to buy iPhone when manufacturing costs skyrocket in the US? Facts. Well, weirdly enough, they've been making stupid margin on those iPhones forever, so. The more we understand, the easier it is to cover and move. Exactly. Did Apple still pull back with that news? Yes. Yes. Apple over here does have reversal signals. This means that the 2 hour, even though it's very squeezy, we're hitting that zone. We could go up to 250, still be aware of that. This is very likely to pull down to 236.36 in my opinion. We'll see. Apple's known to do some nonsense, you know? I don't know what's up with me and the word nonsense today, but apparently it's the word of the day for me. Do I think it has more potential to the downside? Eventually, probably not right now. If we look at the NQ even, like let's go look at this, because I know some people were paying attention to this. If you look at the NQ on the 2 hour, you even see 2 hour divergence on the RSI. But look at the MACD. The MACD is so far away that you're potentially just doing this, right? We said get down to these levels, left, head, get up to there, reject, and call it a day, right? That's what it looks like is the most probable thing, as this is very negative. If that goes positive, then you're just going to see a strong move that takes you above the 5. Use those as little retests instead. I think you are, it's not I think, the chart right now, the MACD right now, even the RSI with that little divergence, does all still suggest that the more probable thing is lower high. Oh yeah, I saw that, Sid. I thought that was funny. He's trolling. As far as Caterpillar, Caterpillar's interesting because it like has wanted to bounce, but then you got rid of the tapering. So this is where you just go, this is going to get rough. Originally, we were like, oh, that daily's there with the divergence there, but that failed. So no confirmation for that daily divergence. You see you heading lower, and you just go, okay, what could happen here? Well, obviously this level we want to pay attention if that's broken, but this level is really important now. If you really draw this kind of across, you go, hey, if we start to lose stuff in here, that's going to be a problem, and we can go down lower. Then we can go down for that test of like 298. Sorry, that was a bad line, but 298, anywhere, I would say actually more likely to see that 285. So you're talking about another, what, almost, what, 50 points? That's kind of rough. Now, we're going to see bounces in between there, so it's very likely we catch ourselves before then. We're just talking if it gets really, really bad. You don't necessarily have the setup here. You do have it holding a little bit on the MACD, not on the RSI. I don't even, is that at least flat? No, it's still down. So this signal just doesn't look very good. It means it can still play out. It's still a signal, but this is like a 1 on the scale. This is like very, very skeptical to play out. That's what I would say. The only thing that's making me go, okay, it could play out is my common sense saying like, hey, the daily's pretty oversold. Everything's oversold right now. It just looks like a risky one that could just see these moves to retest breakdown areas and then fall lower, then retest other breakdown areas, then fall lower. We'll see what happens with earnings later on. You know, I don't think that's till next month. It's not till April. So pretty far away. Oh yeah, what were we doing? 5 minute. Oh, 5 minute didn't confirm up. Unlucky. Looking for 10 bucks up only. Okay, if you're looking for those little counter trend moves, if that's your trading style, you're looking for those little counter trend moves, I'd be watching it, but hopefully you have at least a weekly expected move or something. It's just know that that's a downward trend. You're kind of trading against that. Makes sense. Like, I get it. The environment we're in, the volatility you have, I get it. This is why we're keeping our eye on this. If this just crosses down, I think it's very likely the SPY is going to end up testing 605. What? I don't know, Sid. There's a 30-minute divergence there, so you got to be open to the SPY heading higher in the next 24 hours, at least for a move to get out of those oversold conditions on the 30-minute. Get that bounce. 605 would be a solid bounce, and that's a good thing because we're trying to make some kind of structure, some kind of grabbing of liquidity. NVIDIA is just going to be up in the air, and most likely NVIDIA plays are going to be expensive, and after NVIDIA earnings, you can see big drops, big pops, or nothing, and then get IV crushed. So I think NVIDIA is going to be the hardest play to pull off this week, even if you're right. So I personally, no thank you. Now, Google did see some positivity out the gate. Look at that positivity that came in, but the 30-minute doesn't have those reversal signals anymore, right? We wiped those out. So the 2 hours, the only thing that I'm watching here. If the 2 hour can confirm up, yeah, you have flat divergences on the RSI. I think you might have one on the MACD. I'm just waiting for that to load. Yeah, there's your MACD. So this is your signal for Google is going to see a bigger bounce. All right, this is where it goes, okay, if we're going to see a bigger bounce, it has to do this, and then it has to hold that throughout, get back above 187.50, see that daily potentially even curl up, right? So a lot of things have to remain good for Google here to go in the upward direction, but you do have a signal for it, the 2 hour divergence down at lower levels. You can even pull up your weekly expected moves, monthly expected moves, all that good stuff, and just go, hey, what is this thing at? You guys who are on Patreon know what pretty much this white line is. It's not perfect, but you guys know what that white line is pretty much. It's close enough to what you would see on Patreon, let's put it that way. Can we look at DAX? Yeah, we've been paying attention to the DAX. Still watching if this wants to curl up one more time on the 2 hour, looking for little divergences and things like that, right? We saw all those pop up. We get that retest of the 5. This is good. It's just curling down right now, and that's bad, right? You don't want to see that, but if this is just a fake out, we got to see if this can take back the 5. It's very likely to head lower as well, just to maybe even fill this gap for a moment. So we'll watch that. The 2 hour is not oversold, but we just want to be aware whenever this 2 hour curls up. Now, as that goes more and more negative, it starts to lean more and more towards lower highs, right? Unless we would pull that off like in the next 24 hours, then I would maybe say we test the high and go make a new one. But if this goes down lower and then bounces, well, then your MACD is going to be at lower positioning, right? It could be lower, and then you could make that lower high. So DAX not looking too good on the 2 hour. Once again, this is just why we called out. We literally just started looking at the DAX mostly like last week, and people were asking me about it, and I just go, the very clear thing to me is this is the worst level to invest in for the DAX. That's the very clear thing, and that's really all I should say is the very clear thing. And now we're just seeing if this 5 minute wants to get some kind of pop. Yeah, Sid, I just wanted to make you aware of that. You know, that's what this community's for. It's for you guys to help me with stuff, right? People mention things in the chat that I get to go look at, and then I get to be like, oh, I wasn't aware of this. That actually is how JP Morgan happened. Remember? Does anyone remember that? That's how JP Morgan trade happened. someone said JP Morgan looking pretty weak here, and then we looked at it and I go, oh my god, JP Morgan looking really weak here, and then we made like almost a whole beginning of our video about that on YouTube because it was so good, and then it played out, and that's awesome. Took a trade because I say divergence on MACD and RSI, but now I'm down. Divergence on what time frame for the DAX? Duranto, I want to help you out, buddy. What divergence were you trying to play? My take on Tesla, Richard, is if you make a 2-hour divergence, you can see a solid bounce. Look for that 315 touch. If you touch 315, I like it. But Tesla trying to turn up from right here. So the only thing that's worrisome is this could be fine right now, right? If that 2-hour is able to confirm. But look at this 30-minute. It has the divergence, but it's just like, it's not there on the 30-minute, right? It's too extended out. There's too many curls, right? You violated it too many times. So I'd be like, bearishness, watch out for that. Bullishness, watch out for this. Maybe we do this first, drop down, and then do that. That actually would be fine. This, that doesn't cross up the 2-hour, then you do that, then you see that. Oh, you have a 30-minute. 30-minute divergence with a 2-hour behind it, that would be great for Tesla. 1 hour, okay. Let's go look at the DAX real quick on the 1 hour. And see what divergence you were really trying to come up with here. What divergence were you looking at? Because this is the divergence to the upside. You see that on MACD and RSI at the same time. If you were trying to take something like this flat divergence down here, trying to take something like this, just realize you're far away from the 5. The first thing I should always think if I'm a little bit far away from the 5 with some tiny signal that's not the best, is that could just be a retest of the 5. So if the hourly curls down, then makes the divergence point, that's when you actually want to turn around, right? And that's why we look at the 30-minute, right? We look at the 30-minute to give us those hints. And then this said, yeah, you can bounce, but you know on the 30-minute, it's much easier to be like, okay, yeah, we're going to test the 5 and see what happens. As that curls down, you have to say that can get worse. But this curl down was a confirmation. What if we just wipe that out and turn right back up? Well, if we turn right back up and we take this 5 back confidently, it'd be kind of a good thing. So we'll see what happens. The 2-hour doesn't even have reversal signals, really. Just on the RSI, very light. Very light, not too significant. Still there, caused some selling to come in, right? We saw the weakness in momentum, but now I think this would be a great trap. If we saw some sporadic move from the DAX and then it just threw up, I think that would be a great trap. I thought about the flat, yeah. So when it's not the best reversal signal, and even if it's a great reversal signal, you still want to see if that can take back the 5. If it rejects from the 5 in any way, you got to be watching, because this is kind of like your medium line, right? That you're always going to revert back to, right? You see that all the time too, right? And sometimes you'll even lose it, catch it back, lose it, catch it back, right? So you always want to be paying attention to that. But notice it's always right around that 5. That we see little things happen, right? You give it up, take it back, give it up, take it back, give it up, take it back. It's just you're taking it back very quickly, right? We see how we really get those little moments where you find that reaction below the 5, and if you can't catch yourself again, that's a problem. So you're kind of looking for, hey, is this 2-hour going to curl up? And if you... I'm talking about this way too much. The simple thing is, look at this. Do you have a 30-minute divergence? If you do, awesome. If you don't, then look for that 2-hour to curl up, take back the 5, and then you'll test the high, go make a new one. Very simple there, right? I need to talk more simple about it. That 5-minute, not one to confirm. So as of right now, no confirmation of upside for the S&P 500. Yeah, Duranto, just wanted to point it out. It's a lot easier once you tell me the time frame. Hourly, I think you only had those little divergences. I'd still, if I was trading based on hourly charts, I still would like to see things at the same time on the SPY and the key, or on the MACD and RSI. SPY, we're just seeing if we can catch a 30-minute bounce soon. People are nice and bearish. Dollar's dropping off a tiny bit. You have HYG, that's positive. You have HGX that just made that 5-minute signal. Look at the 5-minute signal from HGX. That's going to get a 30-minute move is what it looks like to me. No divergence though, so it's probably a rejection from breakdown areas like 675. But HGX showing at 5-minute reversal saying, hey, we could get a reversal here. Some kind of 30-minute bounce is all that really means. And then we look at things like HYG and we go, hey, that's actually not the worst look in the world. Maybe we are going to end up, right? So we'll see what happens. Just gotta, if it's going to go up, we'll probably see a 5-minute confirm. If this is going to be the signal that turns that 30-minute around, then that 5 minutes should hold for a little while, maybe get up to these points, right? Maybe we see little bits of structure like this to get to that upside. I would watch out for the morning though. I would watch out holding calls if we end the day up in these areas and the 2 hours not crossed up. We've been over BABA like 3 different times, Myron. I'm sorry to say that, but you might want to look back on that. I think for it, just if you want a quick summary for BABA, it was just, hey, you can get a counter move here. The 30 minutes really oversold, but just be aware that the daily, if that does confirm down, you can get a bigger pullback than this. At the end of it all, even with these little bounces, I still really like the 120 area. First point to pay attention to 120, and then the next one's 100 for BABA. All right, but you can just scan through. I can't tell you what timestamp, but if you kind of just slowly click through right at the bottom and click through, look for when BABA's on our chart, and then go with that, because we've done it a couple times. Tesla calls, Poppy. Maybe soon, you never know. It's just from this level, I don't necessarily like it. So if I see a daily confirmation, then maybe. From this level, or if I see the 2-hour confirmation, I would say maybe, right? 2-hour double bottom. But if this is just some kind of lackluster that falls, I want to make sure I'm waiting for that to confirm. We still have that weekly expected move at lower levels, so we'll see if this is able to make the 2-hour divergence a little bit better, because you're kind of holding up above it. So you're kind of like, is this taking place in some way, or is it this in some way? Those are the 2 scenarios I'm mainly paying attention to. But just know that this is not guaranteed. This up move is not guaranteed. So I'm waiting for that reaction to then get in. I'll miss out on some of the price action, but it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to call bottoms. I'm not trying to buy bottoms. I'm trying to buy reversals. Having to double click to get out of drawing tools. I don't think the way that my mechanics on TradingView are maybe different. I haven't seen any effect of that. I haven't seen it at all. All right, people got nice and bearish. I saw it. People got nice and bearish now. Oh, people are nice and bearish for sure. Yeah. You're actually seeing it, I think, hit the options a little bit. They could be right. As of right now, I'm sure they feel very right, but I'm looking for in case they're wrong, because I see this little signal. Apple is acting opposite of the market, now selling off. Exactly. I think you're going to see that. Remember how we talked about how they're funky with it? They'll keep Apple up higher while the market's dropping, so it doesn't look... Remember, what if Apple was falling right now? That's what you got to think about. What if Apple was falling too? Do you know where the SPY would be if Apple fell, say, 5% like everything else did? The market would be 1 or 2% deeper, in my opinion. Noise in my feeds. It's just me. We actually pointed that out, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before that. We were paying attention to that a week and a half ago. And yes, you potentially should. But it's not like something that really helps you get into a trade. It just helps you understand the environment of what could be causing some fishy things to go down in the market. Meaning, right now, people are telling you it's recession fears, right? Telling you the price in of recession maybe from the bond market. And that's what I said as well could be taking place. But as normal things happen, normally we see people celebrate those yields coming down, not them just reacting right away. So this could be potentially just the yen carry trade and we just don't know, and they're using recession as an excuse. So we'll see, but yeah, I just I'm I'm paying attention to those things as in, okay, understand the state of the market, understand the points where we could have some warning signs. And I think the JPY USD is a warning sign for sure. And that's why things could pick up. But overall, we still want to be just watching the most important thing. What is the most important thing? Price action. Price action is going to be the most important thing, right? You can have whatever in your head, all these bad. This is what people who are bearish for too long, like really, really bearish, like people who have been calling with absolute confidence stock market crash for like 2 years now. Those type of people get overly bearish, right? And they don't follow the price action. We could have said there could be a housing collapse, there could be a bubble, there could be an AI bubble, a chip bubble, a this bubble, a that bubble, there could be this, there could be housing pressures, there could be other things, there could be this, there could be war, there could be World War III. We can pile on the bad things, but if a MACD curls up into positive territory, what's very likely to happen? Positivity. It matters. The way people are moving their money and what they're actually doing matters a lot more than what you're being told is bad. But what you're being told, because someone can come out and say AMC is a piece of trash, right? We have all these big places that have said forever AMC is a piece of trash, institutions saying AMC is a piece of trash, GME is a piece of trash. What do we notice they're doing in the background? We've only seen institutional buying pick up. Right? So they're doing the opposite of what they're telling you for a long time. Now they start to say little good things here and there about GME. Most important thing is GLD. Yo, facts. Looking for that daily to cross down. Looks like it's tomorrow. No, I don't know. I don't know, sure. I wish I knew that, Shirley. That'd be awesome. Nothing is certain until it is. Well, that's why you notice all the news on Friday was talking about recession. We were talking about recession because of signals a whole week before that. Is that going to be all the time? No, sometimes you will get a random piece of news that V-shapes the market, like QE, right? QE, money supply, all those types of things. Those could be really big things. Crypto crunch. Where's my Bitcoin? I gotta redo all these. Bitcoin really vomiting. Has it lost 91.8K? No. It hasn't. So I'm always going to be like, okay, this can head in the upward direction as long as we're, able to keep wicking up above 91.8K. Big money shakedown. Could be. Like I said, I think it's just, big money might have wanted cheaper prices for all we know. This is still the divergence completing and very likely to break through the channel. You could do this week. Just completely break down to a weekly very quickly, right? Maybe you do that pretty quick. Maybe you do it boom, boom, just very quick. Then you see that retest, then you fall down again to a monthly expected move. Then you catch maybe a bigger bounce, right? You do this, then you come up to here, then you see that fail. You get the left head, right shoulder over here. We'll see. If we just watch the signals, though, we're going to be in a better spot than people who are staring at what like a news feed. Right? It was kind of upsetting over the weekend. I felt like a lot of technical analysts did not see this coming at all, which is very interesting to me. But it was very interesting to me because the videos that I did tune into, a lot of them were just showing off tweets or showing off news that was telling you why it sold off. That's completely backwards. That's not even present. That is being in the past. I don't like that. I like to try to talk in the future a little bit. I think they want people to think this is going to be bullish and it's going to bounce, but keep falling. I think the exact opposite. I think they gapped you up to say, oh, you're right, guys. Your calls are right. No, you're completely wrong. And it wipes it out right away early on in the day. Then you set up these as people start to get extremely bearish. right? There you go. You're over a 1.0 now. That's when we start to pay attention to reversal signals. That's why we have a 5-minute chart up. I think that they weren't convincing people to get bearish enough here. So they said, hey, let's show them, yeah, you're right, and then completely wipe them out from it. And they wiped them out from it, and now they're going, oh crap, this really is bad. And then it's just going to curl up on a 5-minute, and then we're going to see a counter trend move. Maybe they get really bullish all of a sudden again, and we'll pay attention to that. All right, we're not doing this all the time. You're not always seeing, like, are people really, really bearish here? No, the main thing is, do I see a reversal signal? And the 30 minutes extremely oversold. So this 5-minute signal is probably important right now. Like, I don't know. I'm like, you know, this is the first time since January 10th. You're talking, you know, what, 50 days? 50 or so days where people were not bearish. They were either neutral or very bullish, willing to take those very bullish plays. Now you have your first instance of bearishness. And then we might catch a bounce. Right? Throughout all this, not really, you know, throughout this, not catching a bounce. Still bullish, still bullish. And then now you do this and it goes, all right, now I'm bearish right when everyone is, right when the market's down, all the way down to the bottom of the channel. It's opposite style of thinking. Could be right, most likely wrong. Let's put it that way. That's the best way to put it. Could be right, most likely wrong. If this curls up, then we will say most likely wrong. How about that? Because we always pay attention to price action. Yeah, Chris. Yeah. I mean, you could potentially even do this, right? Where's my stuff's all messed up, so I'm sorry if that's bad, but you could even potentially look at the futures market and go, wow, isn't that 30-minute divergence? Now, these aren't the right levels for the futures, but, you know, as far as Forex goes, hey, 30-minute divergence is there. What is the 2-hour, what does that mean? 2-hour can see a move. 2-hour divergence still holds on the 2-hour. What does that mean? Well, the 2 hours are 30-minute for the SPY. So if we're seeing a 30-minute divergence here that can curl up a 2-hour, then potentially the SPY is going to see a 30-minute reaction move here if all those things confirm. So here you go. Let's see. Tom Lee's probably nail biting right now. Probably not. Probably not. He always says the bullish thing. Then we see some bearishness. Then when no one believes him, the bullishness starts to kick in. I think he's a shill. I think he's a shill. They allow to be right like a lot of the time. And I'm just like, he doesn't... I've watched him talk multiple times throughout 2024. The things that he points out are so vague and speculative in my opinion, and then he ends up being right, and I'm like, this guy probably has someone chirping in his ear. That's what it seems like to me. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I hope he's just a great analyst, but it's a little fishy. That's it. Aloha, what up, Laws? 1 hour positive divergence on the US 100. Exactly, Steven. So we're paying attention, especially on an hourly chart in the futures. Hourly chart, pretty good. No, I'm just saying it's a little fishy when... It's just a little fishy, that's all. I'm not saying anything against him. If anything, you'd have to give him credit, right? I think he just knows... and because he has a big team, I think you would say he has access to certain data that probably we don't, and maybe that data is just like a connection with Wall Street. Who knows? You're thinking about it, Laws? I bet you are. I mean, there is some divergence there. Lucas, he's a puppy for sure. Happy Friday, or puppy. He's a puppet for sure. I don't like looking at his face. I don't want to be one of I'm not trying to offend him. I'm just like, that's just... Whenever I watch his stuff, I'm like, his little head quirks and stuff, I'm like, ugh, it's off-putting to me. Nvidia given a dump. Yeah, get nice and bearish on Nvidia. Get real bearish on NVIDIA. Let's go. Get real bearish. Make the structure if we're going to continue to be bearish. And then it's going to get real bearish. And then whatever the hell is going to happen with earnings is going to happen. Yeah, Q's losing. Well, they're testing it again, making a potential even double bottom here. Now your MACD doesn't show this very well. Oops, I just drew twice here. Your MACD does not show this as a good divergence. Isn't that interesting on the 5-minute for the Qs? But you do hold it throughout this RSI. I don't think you hold it very well. You hold it here. So from here to here, you're holding it. Then you make potential double bottom. Come on, where's you 1-minute traders? Don't you guys look at that stuff? That was very feminine. It's just a little headquarters. Being bullish is a house edge, since most of the time, generally the market goes to the bull side, retirement accounts, etc. So just being bullish should make you right more times than not. Exactly. I think that's why people hate on those bearish pages all the time, but you have to really click in and watch the whole video for a lot of those big bearish pages, because a lot of them are playing the algorithm. Like sometimes my videos have to, where you have to say crash in the thumbnail, but you have to tell people like, that's what people are believing is going to happen, right? You kind of try to be like, that's what people are believing, but these are the signals I'm seeing. And some people are good at that, some people aren't. That's the sad part of YouTube there is bullish things don't get a lot of clicks, really, unless you put like, make $1 million with $100 in the next 5 years off this one stock. Well, then yeah, you'll get clicks, but it's unfortunate. Looking at bonds for longs, I think a lot of people were talking about the short market on bonds. Like people are very short on bonds lately. So I think it's interesting. I don't think you can formulate a lot of arguments from looking at the TLT chart, but I think one argument you could say is this was maybe a blip. This was the actual retest, and you actually rejected at resistance. You were able to do this little curl, almost like you're doing this. I actually don't mind that, but something I would really be looking at is the 10-year yield all the time, right? Just making sure there's no kind of reversal signals, and I don't think you have them. You can see, you know, little bounces, pullbacks for TLT, but this does not look good right now. You know, it's not better or worse or anything like that. It's more just TLT is what I've always paid attention to. Okay, that's the main thing. And you are violating divergence. You want little retests and things like that. But overall, you're taking the 5. You had consolidation. Yeah, you had a very bad moment, but then you end up in the upward direction. So this tells us there was a huge shift, I think, from very inflation-oriented to very, maybe recession-oriented. And that's what I'd be watching out for. It's not better or worse. It's just, I don't think you can get a lot from this. I think maybe you can from the 10-year, but you don't see a lot of signals to go off of as far as direction in the next day or two for these type of things, in my opinion. I think you are easily able to see things keep dropping or keep going up if you're looking at the opposite side of the 10-year yield. But I think it's also like very hard to tell where that thing could bounce from right now. So maybe weekly expected moves in TLT is better just because I have a weekly expected move for TLT. Maybe I can relate that to BND and say, hey, when TLT hits this, BND might see some resistance there. Let's talk about XRP to the moon. Then he has XRP advertisement on his show. Well, let's see if they are going to be right or wrong. Shall we? Crypto cap. Which one's the longest? Does this one have enough? I feel like Binance is usually pretty long. Oh wait, this is crypto, right? Yeah, there's potential. I mean, you never want to be like, oh, there's no way. You just want to see what's going on here. I think it's more likely you make a daily divergence, but oof, I don't think this looks very pretty. As far as it goes right now, I don't like this too much. I know it's not like the best thing in the world, but if you really want to fall down, you wanted to get to here, come back down to here, and then break through. So if you're going to save yourself here, you need to see probably that quick daily divergence, or this to just buy up now on a 4-hour. But this is worrisome. You could, I mean, I'm not going to say slanted head and shoulders, but this more so looks like this is just a blip to head down again. And then look at this. If XRP ends up going down, XRP is going down. Yeah, potentially going down, like getting cut in half. So really worrisome time. And that's pretty much what you're looking at. That break to the upside, okay, there's a chance. You still want to see if that's failing over here, right? We still want to see if that's going. But if this just breaks the downside now, maybe a retest, and then you fall down to that 200 and you see what happens. But 125 would be overall the measured move, in my opinion. What the frick is going on today, man? What's going on, dude? The heck is this? I don't know. I'm just chilling, talking about other stocks, clicking around a bunch because I don't have to pay attention to this until the 5-minute crosses up. Then I'll be fine. I'll be happy. Let me see how much these things are. Okay. Let's see here. Let me look at this guy. Let's see. All right, here. Yeah, gold's starting to get a little bit cheaper now. I'm just seeing what the calls are looking like in the next few days. You get your list for it. Mine's easy, Willow. You can track my performance. He wouldn't even send me that email, Willow. Like, that's the thing. What are you talking about? Like, what are these people doing on a weekly basis that you can't even track their productivity? You can track my productivity very easily. Check how many times I posted a Patreon. Check how many YouTube videos I put out. Check how many days I went live throughout the week. Check my trades for the week too. Everyone's got to fill it out. Boss's orders, then it's super easy bullet point line for me. I made 6 YouTube videos. I went live 4 times last week, I believe. I think I missed one maybe. Yeah, 4 times last week, 6 YouTube videos. I saw a growth, and then I could easily put a point below both of those and saying in those videos what was the addition of subscribers, what was the view count, all of those things. Then I could also put up my trade and put up the percentage of the amount of trades that I took last week, which was only holding on to 1, I believe, and then making another one next. And then it would prove, did I lose subscribers? Did I gain them? Did I lose watch time? Did I gain it? You know? I'm kind of with you, Dave. I still think that's I still want to see if people celebrate the rates, and that's why I'm very interested how we look by the end of this week when we do get GDP and oh shoot, what was the other one we get? And spending, right? We want to see spending. But the thing is, with that, Dave, tell me this. I want your thoughts, Dave. I want your thoughts. And anyone can comment on this, not just Dave. Anyone can comment on this. My question is, how likely, maybe give a percentage, how likely do you think we are to see that correction now and end up by the end of the year seeing that surge moment? And maybe we top out, say, around October or even 2026. Are you thinking about that? And if so, what percentage would you put on that? Just a gut percentage, right? We know there's not hard, these aren't hard numbers. We're just giving like a personal percentage, if you will. 20%. Okay. Maybe we'll see a top in March, but are about to get a final strong rally that will last several weeks. So that would mean your lower percentage towards it and your higher percentage towards the upward move coming really, really soon. Okay, so most people are leaning towards really, really soon. Okay. I mean, I could get with that. I just think you have the daily signals now, so to not correct now would be interesting, and I would probably be looking at the end of March. I don't know if it would be beginning March, right? Because I think we'd have to make brand new signals, and we'd need like a full month, maybe even going early April to see that. Nice. All right. All right, someone asked for my last time that I'm not doing 0 DTE, but we'll try to do something with the SPY soon. All right, I'm gonna put money where my mouth is. Hey, she's just vacuuming, Bruce. God dang it. Why does she vacuum while I'm streaming? It drives me nuts because the boys hate it. It happens every week. Correction is 10%, yes. So what we're talking about is pretty much what I'm saying is, do we see this 200 get tagged? I think only a 200 tag is all I'm really talking about, right? Okay, I do have the 200 up. So there you go, there's your 200. All I'm talking about is, do we see this before we see that? That's one. The other one, the more corrective move, I would say, would be like this, and then you see that. So that's all I'm trying to look into, but we have confirmed reversal signals right now. So let's really just be watching what happens intra-week here and then go from there. Boys, if you bark again, you gonna get whooped. And we are starting to get confirmation from this 5-minute. Might take a little play. Brian, I might be right there with you, buddy. I just feel like taking a play with a small amount of money. Just to see if I'm right, put my money where my mouth is, right? You ain't about to whoop the dog. No, my dogs they're hard to whoop because they're so, they know when they do the wrong thing, right? They're like a kid. So it's hard to be like, really punish them. But directs the 20-day on the SPX? Possible. Yeah. Here we go. Let's see if this takes place. Now, we should still be open to the fact that, actually, this made even the double bottom here. I think we're going to see potential for something like this now. That would be great. We'll see if we can get there. Right now, still negative, so we want to see if that 5-minute rolls down at any point. If that 5-minute rolls down, we're probably heading to 595. So just be aware, if that fails, like we reject from here, 600 rejection, ooh, that's not looking good. What would you play? Well, this is a 5-minute divergence, and I think people are very, very bearish. So I think we're going to see a 30-minute counter trend move as of right now. As we're negative, I think we're going to see that counter move, possibly to go retest the 5, go up to the 605 level, and then we'll maybe come down again, see that divergence on the 30-minute here. That's what I'm looking for this week. Right, I want to see signals down here, but as it would break the channel, this would be nice to tell us that 2 hours is going to catch a move. If that doesn't set up, then I have nothing to do. It's just me. Thank you so much. You're third on the live stream. Grab a coffee and hit the buy button. Let's go, dude. Are you doing it too? We'll see. You know, everyone's got to manage their own trades. We're not trading together, but if you guys take a play, hey, good luck with it. Good luck with it. My goal, just to be very clear on this channel, my goal is to help good decisions. And I'm trying to prove like, hey, I'm willing to risk a little tiny bit of money here to just put my skin in the game to show like this is when you should be reacting. Like, this is a potential good decision. If you're this style of trader, right? Not everyone's this style, then we can target something like 602, something like 605, see what happens. Yeah, facts, Brian. And that's where that big put wall is, I think, for the day, right? For the day, I don't remember if it's for the day. That's why I always keep these up on my other screen, because I forget constantly. 590 is actually the big level for today. The 595 was the big level for the week, and we actually see, look at this thing, man. Oh my goodness, that 595. So do you think people are bearish or bullish? Do you think they're bearish or bullish? Pretty bearish now, we would say. And they could be right. So we want to be paying attention if this thing actually confirms in a second here, right? I've got a minute left. Got a minute left before I got to decide. And at about, if at probably around 30 seconds, I see this still up like that, I probably will try to take a play. Boys, stop. Alan's the husky, and he just has all the reactionary barks, and then he knows he's not supposed to, but he can't hold it. He can't hold it back. All right, and I think DAX looks pretty okay here. I really want to see that 30-minute move up, but you did not cut this low, so that's okay. I just need to see that 30-minute turn up here, because then I think if that 30-minute turns up, you're very likely to hold that 5 and actually see that 2-hour curl up. 2-hour curls up. Ooh, okay, test the high, go make a new one. Little bit negative, so just be a little open to lower high, but that's like lower percentage, I would say. I would still say testing the high or going to make a new one seems very likely for the DAX. What's Tesla able to do? Tesla, so far, we want to see if that little lip happens. Oof, that could be a likely thing. Then maybe we come down and make those divergence points, but we will have to see as far as Tesla goes. Meta at that 666. Well, we're looking at this too. We're still looking for those little bounces, I think. You don't have divergence, so you're very likely to just see something like, uh-oh, right? But Meta still has some work to be done, I think. SPY, let's go back over to the 5-minute chart in the SPY. Just pay attention here. Yeah, I don't like the wick on this just yet, but I think I'm going to go ahead and go for it. I think we'll go for it. What'd you do, 4 contracts? All right. I'm just going to target 605. I feel like 605 is fine, and I'm not using an amount of money. Like, if this just goes straight down, I'm not going to use an amount of money that really hurts me. I just wanted to put some money where my mouth was. Yeah, so this is a it's a 5-minute one, so this is a very short-term one. You're literally trying to catch a 30-minute bounce. It's just that bounce could potentially be aggressive, and then we'll see what happens from here. Right, we want to see if this maybe gets a little aggressive, but I'm looking at that 602. Yeah, and then we just have to see if it fails, right? If the 5-minute curls down, I'm out, and I'm not going back in. I'm going to wait for easier setups. I don't like these little 5-minute ones, because now that I took it, put my money where my mouth is, now I get to be potentially stressed out for the day. No, I'm not going to be stressed. If we see a good amount of buying come in all of a sudden, get us to 602, I won't be stressed. It is very negative, sir. Exactly. So I'm going to watch for the rejection. Right. Just easy. If the 5-minute curls down, I'm out. I'll lose a solid 50% probably, but maybe it goes up first. We'll see. Come on, earnings. Yeah, I think big potential for rejection as you're still negative, and it's just a 5-minute chart. Yeah, Brian, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I kind of want to just hold the target, though. It's a low amount of money. I want to see if we can hold the target and get this thing right. We've been pretty right lately. Like, for the last few months, actually, we've gotten this pretty right. I think the only time we had in those months a little bit of confusion was sometime down in here. Right here we were okay. Here we were like, it's getting a little overzealous, but then it just came all the way back. That was interesting. And then this little moment right here, maybe. But the good part is if we're just patient with it, it'll show us, you know, things it's going to do next. There's only a couple of days in there where we were really like, man, yeah, the word of the year is confusion. Apple's starting to curl down, lower time frame should bring the rest of the market down. I'd be careful with that kind of thinking. Apple was up while everything was down. Now, what if everything goes up while Apple goes down? Right? Still treat it very individually. But that means you might just have a play on Apple that's just different from what the market does. Right now, the market is bouncing, and Apple's doing kind of the opposite. So that just tells me, all right, one thing I'm paying attention on this little 5 minute right away is like, hey, we're still above the 5. We could still do this. We could still make something here. But if it wants to go down, that's fine with me. I'm just looking at the SPY. The SPY is going to give me that better direction, that more holistic direction. I'm going to gamble on this. It's only $46. Oh, that's funny. Hey, that's all right. 46 bucks and you're right can go a long way. You can turn like 46 into 200 maybe if you're right on a little trade like this. Up 8.7% so far. AKA $3. Fudge, yeah. 1000%. Yeah, what if you did catch this and it just rocketed to like 620 tomorrow and you're just like, whoa. 4 contracts, 620. If you take 605, hey, 15 times 400, you'd take that. 3 grand. Or wait, that'd be like, that's 6 grand, isn't it? Because 400 times 10, 400 times 5, yeah, it's like 6 grand. If it would get to 620 tomorrow. I don't think that's something you should really be looking for, but I think you would probably sell before that you know, 500 bucks or whatever turns into 6,000, but that would be amazing. That would be amazing, but more likely to just reject off of 605, so we'll see if it takes place. We need one big buy to come in. What's volume look like here on the 5 minute? Yeah, it's dying out, the volume dying out. We'd hope that, boom, you see just one big buy come in. I like GME here. I don't think you mind it. If the wick is good, we're always aware if that daily chart is crossing. Daily chart's not crossing. 30 minute coming down to these levels, making a 30 minute divergence. It's just the MACD is not showing it. 30 minute divergence on the RSI for GameStop, 2 hour curls up. That's a pretty good chance to break through that 28.58. And still, I would say, you know, a lot of people are critical of things like this, but I would still say it's holding well enough. I need to do my other things on the other tab here so I can keep this 5 minute up for this. Let's put volume back up. I kind of like tabbing that to see what's going on here. A little 5 minute, let's get some volume. 605 is all I need, baby. GME dubs, I don't think that looks bad there. What's AMC able to do with that? Awesome. Do it. Do it. Curl down on the daily. I dare you. I dare you. Do it. Do I need to play the thing again? Where it's like, do it. No, the 2 hours down by that center line, we're just seeing if this is going to be a right shoulder in some way. This is going to be real sketchy with earnings, isn't it? Yeah, Duranto. And Duranto, did you see I looked at the DAX for you? Duranto, were you here for that a second ago? I literally looked at it like 5 minutes ago, and I just kind of was talking about what the DAX needs, and I think it's still likely to, if it can hold that 30-minute, I think you can see some good stuff, but you got to make sure that's holding, buddy. That's right, I'm leaving. I got it. Okay, leave this chart alone, Lucas. Click over here. Leave it alone. I saw it, thank you. Okay, good, Duranto. I just wanted to make sure. You still gotta, you're kind of like, this is what I would say for you, Duranto, because I can't see, I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna be able to do the trading or anything like that, right? We can't give that kind of advice. This isn't what this channel's about. But I would say making a plan for, hey, if this does happen, I can stay in, but have a very clear plan for like, okay, but if this happens, I'm out, right? It could just be if this low is taken out, I have to get out. If it doesn't hold the reversal signal, if it takes that low, I have to get out. You know, the big thing is the game will always continue. So if you have a trade that's going wrong in some way and there's no chance or you don't see any way for that to come back, you know, the game will continue. A better setup might be there tomorrow. Who knows? A better setup might be there by the end of the day. It's just risk-wise, you want to be paying attention to that. 5 minute looking good here now. VIX showing clear reversal signals. Okay, I'm I think now she's blending stuff and he's like barking every time he hears it. Yeah, volatility though. Volatility we really want to be paying attention to. VIX, 30-minute crosses down. I think you're pretty set on being like, all right, this 30 minutes probably getting to 605. Weirdly enough though, that would just be a retest of the 5, and that is when shorts might jump on it, bears might jump on it. Give your dog some bacon. He has these barbecue, like tough bacon strip, not bacon strips, but barbecue strips that are like real long. And my pit bull tears through them, but Alan takes forever, the Husky German Shepherd. He takes forever with it, and then sometimes it gets lodged in his throat and he pukes, and it's like, God, I need to, it's almost like I need different treats for him. What type of dog? I have a full breed pit bull. He is a very gentle giant. And then I have another gentle giant who's very food oriented. He is a Husky, German Shepherd, Lab Beagle, but he just looks like an orange Husky. She's doing your job while you sit on your butt. Well, I think the girls have a fun day planned. So I'm not, you notice I'm not complaining about, or I'm not going up to her and telling her to stop. I want her to keep doing what she's doing. I just want my dogs to stop reacting. Trying to stay alive for a little bit. You would think that, Duranto, but did you know that pit bulls are actually some of the best with babies? Now, you still want to keep your eye on it, but they are best friends, Duranto. I'll have to show you guys. I'll put a video on my computer and show you guys some point, but they are like best friends. She literally crawls up to his little gate that he's held behind in the morning and waves at him every morning, and then he comes out and they play. And the way that he, you know, those type of dogs, they do communicate with bites sometimes. So like those bites that he does with me are a little bit more to them, but he still does it to Ari, but he does it in almost like someone nibbling on cheese type thing. Like he just barely does it, which is very nice. But you have to keep a close eye. It just takes one moment for things to go wrong with a pit bull. He's very strong. But we trust Bruce, but we trust him in a way that's like, we still keep an eye on him, right? You're not wrong to point it out. I mean, I think I just saw a story like a very nice pit bull just randomly slipped up and a kid threw something at him or something. He just went and it was bad. It's a dangerous baby, not dangerous for babies. Oh, okay. Yeah. You still want to, it's kind of any dog. The most aggressive dog that is around me right now is are these two like 7-pound dogs that try to start fights all the time. I don't. That's why I don't like little dogs. I don't get why they're so cocky. It's that short king. that what is it? We're like, you ever have one of those like extremely short friends that's just super jacked and super offended by everything? Can you please check you one more time for me? You? I'm in a position. You. Y-O-U. And then I probably have to hop off soon, guys. 30-minute here, still very positive. I would really like a retest of the 5 here. I don't think this is bad. I actually think this is a great reaction. The only thing that's bumming me out is that E on the screen, so just take this all with a grain of salt. But this is pretty good. And this is very positive. So if this can just curl up one more time, positivity would be the most likely thing. Potentially to break through that 2450 and head up towards 25. If you can keep going higher, it looks like the level here of about 2560, very important for this one. Yeah, so 30-minute curls up at any point. You'd be looking at positivity, and then you'd watch for those little traps. Oh, I'm short and jacked, my friend. Yeah, but you're not a douche, so we're not talking about you. Oh, trust me, I ain't talking about you, Brian. In my head, I'm talking about someone specifically, but I can guarantee you it's no one in chat. I've never met any of you in person, right? We should do that sometime. I'm down. Would anyone want to do that? I wonder where everyone's at, where we could potentially have a little meetup for fun. Maybe I could get some little booklets to hand out or something like that, like little notebooks or something. That'd be fun. Maybe that's a little bit off for a while with baby girl, but that'd be fun. Maybe in a year or two. Let's do Vegas. Yeah, let's go to Vegas and do probability strategies on a roulette wheel. That'd be sick. That'd be so sick, guys. Oh, God. You're only allowed to play roulette and craps and blackjack. Those are the 3 games you're only allowed to play. Actually, no, fuck that. Because you can, I have, I have, what's it called? What are the, I have a slots thing too. I have a slots strategy too. Sports betting? Oh, God. Sports betting's really funny. I actually only pay attention to psychology. So when I used to sports bet on NBA games, because I used to, when sports betting first like was made legal online, I was like, oh, I want to do this with NBA games. I wouldn't look at anything except for which team during the warm-up, you know, gave more high fives. That's the only thing I looked at, and I would pick the team that gave more high fives. Did you know that someone did a psychological study and they found that the team, it was in a certain year, the team that won the NBA finals gave the most high fives. And then they started to prove, like, with more data, that every year it's like the teams that are giving the most high fives, usually at least 2 of them end up in the top 4. Look at volatility. Ah, oh no, oh my goodness. All right, there's your volume. Volume's picking up. I'll take 30% so far. Where you at, Loma? Like, is that halfway between homes? Yeah, you're in, oh no, you were in Florida. Volume, baby, let's go, Paul. We'll take 60% already. Do you offer one-on-one? We haven't done that yet. Unfortunately, Mr. Watson, we've been talking about doing that for like a year now. And it's just, I'm a first-time dad. I'm not a pro at it by any means. My wife pretty much is a pro already. I don't know how she does it. She's amazing. But me, I don't think I fully am locked in on that just yet. So I'm trying to wait till maybe we get to a point where things are a little bit more mellow at the house, and then we can see what happens from there. I really want to do one-on-one consultations. I think one-on-one, just like when you're at school, one-on-one with your teacher, you always see the biggest benefit, in my opinion. So I would love to do that. But Mr. Watson, that still might be off for a little bit of time. If you really want to get my attention, hey, there's always a way to get someone's attention. You know, you can figure that out. But other than that, it's just going to be open to when my time is actually open. Like, I just finally had time to like sit down and kind of reorganize some things. And now I have to reorganize again because I deleted all that crap and I'm pissed. I accidentally held the delete button while I was editing once, or while I was filming once, and I just deleted like half of these stocks. So I just spent like a while this morning organizing all of these things because, like, you notice half of them are still gone, like, or like 10 of them are still gone. So I got to go through. You think it will hit 605 today? Potential. I think if you're able to do this, then this, and you hold up, and then you do that, I think you have potential to, yes. Because overall, you need to retest the 5, right? That's where most likely you're heading to. So the way to get there is you see that strength, then you see a lackluster period where people are going, oh, nope, yep, it's just another trap, and then it curls to the upside again. Something we do want to happen here is people remain a little bit bearish, and that's taking place right now. People are trying to short again. They're trying to short again. It's a big problem for people, is just like totally looking at things opposite. Right? It's a hard habit to break. If you're used to making bad decisions, it's very hard to break those habits. You really have to step back and write those things down. You genuinely do, in my opinion. Thoughts on Microsoft and things like that? I think we have a lot of likelihoods to bounce from certain stocks that have sold off very dramatically. Microsoft might be in that boat, but Microsoft might have more time to actually curl down into this zone, give you that 30 or that 5-minute divergence. But if the 30-minute can curl up here, you're still looking for that test of the 5, right? That's why I'm paying attention to the SPY. It's giving a structure. We just saw that for volatility. So I would read into that for stocks that are super low. I'd be like, hey, these things can make moves to go test their 5-day moving average. Let me look for some kind of 5 reasons to take the play. That's how I'd look into it right now, but hey, we'll see. Right now, we're just seeing good moves. Hopefully those good moves continue. BRKB. Yeah, Berkshire, whoa, that's a terrible liquidity there. Why does Berkshire Hathaway has bad liquidity? Holy crap, has really bad liquidity. It's really bad. But hey, it's booming right now. It's booming. That's all I can say. There's not a lot to go off of here. You would expect to go retest these levels or fill this gap and then see that next move higher. Let's just look at this. Since the liquidity is bad, the price action is not going to be good to look at here. A lot of 2-hour diversions didn't play out. 30-minute just curled up and then it kept going, but it's really hard to look at this right now. And maybe they potentially are getting back in. Who knows? But that's a very difficult chart to look at. Like I've never traded Berkshire, but I would say looking at that chart, I don't want to trade it, if that makes sense. Looking at that chart did not make me excited to take a play. Oh, is it? Okay. Buffett, yeah, we pointed out that a week ago that he was getting rid of his entire position in the SPY and VU. Yep, we were attuned to that. Hey, 80%. Let's go. We might be at 100% at 602. That'd be nice. Ow. Fuck, I just like elbowed my desk. My bad. Hope you guys are cool with me hanging out with you guys a little bit extra. I'm supposed to take off like now. Actually, here, give me one moment. I'm going to see if I can stay for just a little bit longer as we watch this trade. I'm going to see if I can stay a little bit longer. I'm going to go upstairs and check in, okay? Be right back. All right. Bought us 30 minutes. Bought us 30 minutes. No, when you guys, once you got a baby and stuff like that, shoot. I'm happily whipped. Let's put it that way. I choose to be whipped. It's a lot different. Apple analysis, you want that real quick again? Yeah, let's check on Apple. A lot of people talking about this. 30-minute chart. First of all, we still got to see if this is going to make that run to 250. I don't think this means Apple's like bearish at, at this point. I'm not seeing those closings below the 9 or the 5 yet. So all of this, I don't really even want to see that as really that bad. Something that could happen here is you get a little 15-minute curl up, right? As your 15-minute is still positive. You see that go like this, reach up, touch that 250, then fail, hold that divergence point. You see that? That's when I think the moment might be there for Apple. If we can see that surging point. But we just want to be aware, like, is that a great trade for upside? Because if this just started to fall, I mean, look at the 2 hour. It's been going up for a long time. You're starting to see that squeeze-like behavior. And we all know what happened with Palantir. We all know what happened with Meta. We all know what happened with these other ones. So you got to be cautious with something like Apple. It's not as drastic as something like Palantir or something like Meta, but it's a smaller time frame. It could do this and then do that. So we're looking for, do we go up to that 250 first, then see that happen? That's facts, Brian. Yo, that's facts. I'm telling you, if I'm like so thankful for the people around me today. And if you're not, like you really look at the people around you today and you're not thankful, man, don't think you can't make changes. That's something I've always been good at. I think that's why I'm a good adaptable trade like water kind of trader, is just because my whole life I've been doing, I don't like it, I switch. I don't like it, I switch. I don't like it, I switch. And every adult would tell me that's a bad thing. And I'm like, I don't care. If I don't like it, I switch. Now that I've committed, now when I commit to something, that's a lot different, right? If I don't like my wife for a day, I ain't switching. You know? She ain't switching up on me and I ain't switching up on her. We're a good team. We're too goofy to not hang out, you know? Palantir analysis, thanks in advance. Yeah, okay, let's look at Palantir. Also, one thing I'll say, Arthur. don't say thank you in advance, okay? Always say thank you after. Just say, hey, would you mind doing some Palantir analysis, dude? I'll look at it for you. You know I will, all right? Say thank you after, all right? 30-minute here is what we're watching, though, okay? Men of the Lord in this chat, that's right. Better humble yourself real quick. 30-minute divergence is huge. Now, and Arthur, that's just because I study psychology, and that's the way I like it, okay? I got you, buddy. Okay, 30-minute divergence here. Now, this is very intriguing because I don't think that's the exact level for Palantir. I'm going to double check. Palantir is running into a weekly expected move while setting up a 30-minute divergence that brought you back into, right? You're setting up that 30-minute divergence that suggests you're going to go out of that, that monthly move again. So something to watch for here is by the end of the week, do we do something like this? And then we go like this? And then we maybe even violate that towards the end of the week, right? Or is this just going to reverse that 2-hour and we're going to end outside of the weekly expected move? That is what this signal is suggesting right here. The signal right here is suggesting that Palantir can make a 2-hour move to potentially go set up a lower high, right? But if that 2-hour move takes place all the way into Friday, right, then we could see a rug pull going into, say, Friday morning, Friday afternoon. So we'll keep that in mind, right? But for now, we want to really see if these things are even confirming. It's not confirmed. You hit a weekly expected move. You're coming back in the monthly. So the most probable area to land by the end of the week is right here. What happened, Duranto? What happened? What happened with the DAX? Quick, help Duranto, quick. Hopefully that's all right for you, Arthur. If you have any further questions, please let me know. Yeah, see, there's that 30-minute. There's that 30-minute kicking back in. Okay, Arthur, awesome. Yeah, so here, we'll give a lesson on question asking, not for the chat, but for your regular life. The feeling that people get when you say thank you before they've given you something you've asked for, you're technically not asking, you're telling. So if I say, type LOL in the chat, thank you, then I'm saying you have to do it, almost. And that's just one thing, but it's more of a psychology lesson than anything. For work, yeah. So that's where it came from. That's where the study came from, was for work and emails. That's funny. Exactly. Stockfather Senior knows what I'm talking about. Palantir was running into the weekly and setting up great. It is setting up great. You just have to realize that monthly makes it a little fishy. But if you're paying attention to this week and you see a move down early on in the week, guess where Palantir's guess where Palantir's weekly expected move is? Here, we'll help you guys out because this one might be confusing. So this is the topside monthly. And I'm just going to tell you this once because you guys are on the live chat. You guys have been fantastic today. Thank you guys so much for asking questions. Arthur, thank you for asking question. No Boost bringing up the Lord. We like that. Brian bringing up some good stuff. Chris always chatting in there. You guys, I love Samson. Everyone's so active. Even Stockfather Senior. I don't think I see you comment a lot, but great comment. I mean, great. Your perfect analysis of psychology there. Where is that move? And I'm going to tell you right now. The weekly expected move, the weekly expected move for Palantir this week, 111.41, right? Okay, so we're going to give this to you. I'm going to give this to you because it's a tough one. And I'm a nice guy, right? I'm a nice guy. So what does this mean to us? This means to us, as we're potentially at a lower expected move, we actually could make that run all the way with this reversal signal to that upward expected move and see that lower high come in, okay? So the most probable area to land is still right here. So what I'm gonna do is, where is Friday? Friday at 8:30. Let's make a little box in here. That's too big of a box. Let's make a little box like this. And this is where we're very likely to land by Friday, but this is a signal that says we could do this. I'd just watch out for this. That would be potentially better, but we'll see. This is a reversal signal. You have a 30-minute on the MACD and RSI at the same time. So does the 2-hour have reversal signals? No. Right? So if we wanted to get to that 200, wouldn't it be okay to do this? And then everyone gets excited. Then you see a big vomit. Then you see that divergence pop up as the 200 comes across. That'd be nice. Just kind of reading into things a little bit. All we know is volatility curled down on the 30-minute, which means the SPY very likely to continue to see positivity. Damn, nice. We like that. I do, but only when it makes sense. I don't like to spam. Hey, I appreciate that, Stock. It's helping me keep the chat straight. To be or not to be. That Palantir was running into a weekly and setting up great. You had me laughing there when you were going to help me. That's good. I was like, DAX? Oh, God. I mean, it is curling up, though, isn't it, Toronto? Like, that's what you're kind of, honestly, I don't like to be in a hopeful mindset when I'm trading. Like, if my trade's looking a certain way, I'm not, like, hoping. I'm hoping not to be hoping. I'm hoping that things are going well. I'm hoping that things are obvious, right? But I'm not hoping that it turns back around, hoping that it, oh, no, I hope this curls back down. So it's a rough spot to be, and I get it. But it just shows if you can pull it off, if you can really see this and just go, hey, the 2-hour move looks likely, then you can just sit there and be like, okay. It kind of was Toronto. Yeah, looking at DAX, it kind of was. We haven't confirmed this on volatility just yet, and Abuela just got here. Don't worry about the boys. I'll try to mute in between. The boys are running up and down the stairs, all excited. It's just me and the boys down here, you know? Just how we like it. You know? The stock market's for the boys. Well, and human females. And both. It's for... Never mind. Don't mute the dogs. You like hearing some woof? I should bring Ari down and see if she'll go woof. We the boys. And girls. Nice candle forming on GME. Let's go check that one out real quick. Ooh, look at this. 30-minute divergence on GME. This might be that surge. Who was talking about it? Was it Dave? If GME, I wonder if GME and the market move up together. We'll see. Nvidia just turned positive. Sorry, I'm making fart noises with my hand. Amazon and Google look good. I'm playing those as well. Yeah, there are some opportunities out there. Amazon at a key level. Very, very nice. Google, though, very interesting with the 2-hour divergence. So you do see 2-hour divergence on both the MACD and RSI. Just the RSI very flat. God dang it, I keep doing that where I draw instead of double click. I need to change my mechanics. Very, very flat, very flat. So you have to be a little cautious, but if that 2-hour confirms up, you're going, that says a daily upward move. That's interesting. What's the SPY saying? What's the Q saying at that point? That's what I'd be watching for. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. I think this is very likely by end of day now. Google did not make a new low today with the market. Yeah, it didn't. You are correct in that. And we're at that 182.50 level, so very, very nice. Holding some form of tapering, right? This wasn't able to do it, but we're still overall, are we going down faster or slower? Well, you're potentially still holding that tapering, even tapering off again. Another blip kind of move, but hey, it gave you the 2-hour divergence now. You're pretty happy with that. Originally, you're looking at divergence without this. Now it makes it more clear. So yeah, I don't mind that play, honestly. God dang it. Okay, I'm switching Nope, 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 not switching. I'm going this 5-minute chart. We're gonna keep watching this thing. So our goal here is to see the 5-minute able to go positive enough that it can hold that positive trend. Even below a 5-day moving average, we want to see if this 5-minute can keep going up, see that pullback come in, but when that does pull back, hopefully this is up here, and then you just see that. And then crazy thing, let's talk about crazy things. Let's talk about even further. Let's talk about even further for this. What if this goes like this, goes like this, and then goes like this? What if we see that? What if we see the opposite of what we're seeing right now? What if you go, Hey, we might pay attention. Now, 5 minutes aren't something that I trade back and forth. 30 minutes are, and I realize there's no 30-minute divergence, right? So what I'm looking for is some kind of signal up here that leads to this. And we'll see what happens. Looks nice. Are you gonna leave the stock market if US crypto goes tax-free? If crypto goes tax-free, I'll just probably potentially be a crypto investor. I don't know if I'll trade it too much. No, you can trade Bitcoin pretty well on a 4-hour, so I might be like a 4-hour, yeah, I might be a 4-hour one. Prop trading? Prop trading firm services to get your account funded? No, I never have, but there is someone who has, who I used to talk in his live chat all the time, and weirdly enough, we would have full live streams where he would go back and forth with me. If you've ever watched this channel and you've seen him go back and forth with a certain person like multiple times a week, for like an hour, and he's always like, that's a very good point. That was me before I had a YouTube channel. I actually really like Mike Schwartz. If you're looking at prop trading, he is someone who's done the prop way of things, so I would suggest maybe joining his channel at some point. And he is actually teamed up with one, and I would do some serious research before. A lot of prop trading firms, they don't make money based on the actual traders. They make money based on who applies and then fails their application, because you have to kind of like prove your trading before they'll take you on. So what they do is they say, oh, it's $100 to apply, and then if you don't lose, you can try as many times as you want, but that's their main way of making money. So if you are going to apply, make sure your skills are there, and someone that can talk about it further would be Mike Schwartz. I think that's his name, right? I go to Mike's after end of your stream. That's awesome, Dan. Tell him I say hi, and tell him I used to join his chat all the time, and me and him used to bounce back and forth for like full 30-minute conversations, hour-long conversations during his live show. It's pretty fun. And then I would show up the next day and he'd be like, oh my gosh, you were spot on that. And I'd be like, yeah, this is dope. And it gave me some confidence in my trading way back in the day. Mike Schwartz, that's it. It has an H in there, right? Great dude though, super positive, super nice, super kind guy. Like people would come in and honestly, people would come in and say really dumb stuff, and he still would turn that conversation around and make them feel comfortable there, and I really like that. 50 sec from Toronto, thank you so much. Thank you for being so helpful. Hey, I appreciate you, and thank you so much for your first super on the live stream. Thank you so much for being a part of this community, and thank you for the first super. Can we get some hand clappies or something? Mike Schwartz, maybe that's it, yeah. Can we get some hand clappies for Toronto in the chat, please? Hopefully that DAX is coming back for you. Oh, just closed. It's my fave guy. Let's go. Let's go. There you go. Hand clappies. Hand clappies. All right, so we're seeing if this 30-minute can turn up for the SPY. Still paying attention to 5-minute just because more entertaining. But I will be able to hang out for a bit. I am going to go upstairs and just say hi to my mother-in-law real quick, guys. Okay, so give me a split second here, and I'll be right back. Everyone, keep celebrating Toronto until I'm back. Celebrate the out of him, okay? I'll be right back. I'm going to go say hi. All right, we back. Sorry about that, guys. Takes a second. All right. More class. You guys actually did celebrate him for a long time. Hey, that's fantastic, Toronto. Thank you so much. Can we all say thank you, Lucas, in the chat before he comes back? Hey, that's awesome. I see it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys just as much as you appreciate me. Now, one thing we need to be paying attention to here is breakdown area was here. If we're going to make a triple divergence on this 5-minute, this could be an area to be paying attention to. Now, I don't think that's the most likely thing in the world, but we still need to be watching it as a just in case. Hold on. Okay. Actually, I want to see this guy too. Where's UVX? Oh, I don't have UVXY on this anymore. God, that's just great. UVXY, I want to see this one too. A 30-minute scale. That's starting to cross as well. Okay. But still 30-minute trend looks pretty positive there for that. So we'll see what happens with that. So almost directly opposite to the SPY is UVXY, which is nice. Is my mic on? Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, so I've got about maybe 15-20 more minutes and then I'll have to take off. But we are seeing that volume still trailing down a little bit on the 30-minute chart. I'm going to pull volatility up over here. Volatility is starting to break down, so SPY very likely to see a bounce. Just think here, we still can see that 5-minute move down one more time. Doesn't have to be something drastic, right? We just want to pay attention. This is where we really broke down from, right? This little area here. If we want to get real bullish, we need to see that reaction up to here. Now, we could see something like this that blows us through there. That's what I want to be paying attention to at this moment. I want to see if we're still trying to get retail nice and bearish for the morning, shoot this down, get more bearishness, more, and then we end up turning back up, or even more, and we end up turning back up. So this is something I'll be paying attention to over the next couple of hours, just so you're aware. I will have some other work things to get to, but I will be paying attention to this. And if I see anything that I see as very important, I think we already know what my assessment is. I'm looking for that counter move for the 30-minute. If I see anything that's more tricky, I will most likely post that to Patreon. So this week, guys, it's 4 days until the end of the month, right? It is a great time to try the Patreon if you haven't yet. And I know some people tried it out and some people didn't think it was the right fit for them, and that is perfectly fine, but at least now you know. And there's always the availability to come back if you think that maybe something was going wrong the first time, or maybe it's going to be more helpful because you've changed things. It's just a good thing to try out, because if you can figure out how to trade around it, which is what the course does for you, right? But we're more talking about the Patreon. If you know how to look for things around these key levels, it can really help your trading. And we will have the reason we're talking about it, new monthly moves come out this weekend. I'm looking for an all-time high long on the next drop with confirmation. I'm looking for an all-time high long on the next drop with confirmation. You don't have confirmation to see new all-time highs yet. I think you are more likely to see confirmation of new all-time highs at the end of the week. The reason that I'm waiting for the end of the week is because people's sentiment with last Friday is down now. So if we get that counter move up, people might think like, oh yeah, we might forget about that for a moment. But if there's no reason we're heading to the upside and we're not taking back this 5, it is way more likely to reject off of that. Okay, and then your 2-hour would still be extremely deep. This could leak out for a couple of weeks. Now, what we'll be paying attention to is still this 30-minute chart. We'll be seeing if we can get that reaction up, that reaction back down, make that reversal signal, and then this would be the attempted area where that can happen. But you notice if this happened this aggressively, that would only take place into Wednesday. So most likely it will be choppier than that. Most likely we'll see something like this if it wants to get bullish, which is maybe we see that reaction up, we see that reaction down, we get another one up, then we see that pull down, and then we actually take off to the upside. That's something interesting of how we could head to the upside, but mainly I just want to be looking for a 2-hour divergence with how this thing's going decently negative. But if that's going to stop right now, we're just going to make this as a 30-minute divergence that then goes up. That's all you're going to see. And then that would be your new all-time high signal to be following, in my opinion. So that's what I'll be looking for. We'll be talking about this stuff as it continues to develop. For the time being, it looks like we've made that 5-minute divergence where that 30-minute can go test the 5, and that's what we're looking for at this moment. Very nice, though. Very, very nice. We just want to be aware if this 5-minute crosses, the difference from it crossing here to here is now you have availability of a higher low, just a little bit. You still want to be aware that this thing can go all the way down to here, right? We can do that. We could go all the way down to daily expected move before this is able to catch a bounce. So be prepared if we start to close below these levels and you have shorter expiration. I myself, if I see this cross, right? If I see this cross on the MACD, I potentially will be out. And then whenever that wants to curl back up, be back in, because I think we're going to get that 30-minute counter move. But we'll see. Stock market going to do what the stock market want to do. We're retesting the break of the 200 MA 4-hour. I don't look at 4-hour moving averages too much. Yeah, Hector, I think the reason that you want to see it by the end of the week is because of the data we get towards the end of the week. And you really want to make sure that that's okay. Okay, really got to be making sure that that's all right. Because if that data comes out and you get a bad reaction from the market, you do have data that is suggesting when this comes out, we'll see durable good orders, but GDP coming down would suggest economic slowing. Initial jobless claims, we'll pay attention to if that's ticking up. And then the next point to pay attention to is on Friday, we see that personal income, personal spending. If personal spending is coming down as it's suggested to be, that could also include people reading into weakness in the consumer. So there are some things on Friday that can send you up or send you down. And so it's important to see what stocks look like on Thursday after all these crazy earnings things. What's going on with those guys, by the way? AMC down, GME slightly shifting down still. NVIDIA trying to curl back up. Not even a 5-minute divergence. 30-minute very deep here. Oof. Rough one. There we go. There we go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Do it. Do the thing. Do the thing where you go up. Do the thing where you go up and we make money. Do that thing. That sounds nice. I like that. I like when something goes up in the direction I want it to and makes me money. Oh, baby girl's awake now, so the boys are going ham. It depends on what kind of psychology books you're looking at. I am someone who does read into studies a lot more than books, but I can tell you a few that I have read. I'd have to look at my Amazon purchase history. I'm someone who, more so I studied psychology in college, and then afterwards I more just start to pay attention to tests and stuff like that. But a few people that are pretty good, if honestly, Jordan Peterson's not a bad dude to be paying attention to. What is it? I have to look up my history here. Okay. So one, if you're in a tough spot, right? And I think this is a good one in case you go through something bad in your life at any point and you happen to be a gentleman, but it can help women a lot too, is just that 12 rules. So, you guys don't know me, personally, I talk very personally on my channel though, because I really like creating that communal feeling, right? You guys do get a sense of who I am as a person. I think that's great. But, that book really helped me out in a tough time. That was the book I read that got me out of my depression when I lost my business, lost my home, and all I had was a little trading account. That really helped me out. 12 Rules, it really puts into perspective how the simple things are very important. And then shortly after I read that book, I got my the simplest answer is usually the right one tattoo, because I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. That's a great book just to read, to really get down to basics and realize that the little things are probably the most important things, right? The things that you do every single day are more important. So what's the word? Is it more important to have a good experience on vacation, or is it more important to have a good experience at breakfast with your wife every morning? That's a good way to put it. Other books that are pretty good is like Read People Like a Book. Things like that are very nice. I would mainly just try to get into very basic levels. I mean, I studied it in college, so we read a lot of psychology books back then that I'd have to like look up. But I would just say have fun with it. Anything that you're interested. If you're interested in habits, like how to break habits, look up books that possibly talk about the psychology of how to break habits, right? That's always fun. Look for those little things. There's a fun book. I think it's called People Playing Games or something like that. I think that one was kind of fun. I don't know. Let me look it up on Amazon maybe. I think it's in my order history. Oh, yeah, okay. I think this one was fun. Now, I don't remember too much of it, but I do know that I did read portions of it. I think I looked through this one a few times, so I think it's called Games People Play, is pretty interesting. And then after you read a few things about psychology, since I more so look at studies, I look for books that I can read into the psychology of it myself. So right now I'm reading a book about the Reaper, still getting into it. I'm about 200 pages deep now. I just started really reading it over the last month or so. I actually read 60 pages straight yesterday, or over the weekend at some point, one day. I can't remember if it was Saturday. Very good, but it's more, I'm looking for the reasons why I would read the book. So I look for the reason why I would read a book, as in, hey, people are pretty crazy right now. If you see how people really talk on Twitter and things like that, it almost seems like people want to hit other people, right? Like if you really think about the way people talk back and forth, it looks like a fight's about to break out. So because I was aware over the last year that I need to train myself with potential protection things like guns and things like that, okay, I trained myself, and I just wanted to mentally look at the psychology of someone who's had to do those things, and I thought the book The Reaper is fantastic for doing that. He goes in depth of his mentality at times, why he got into service and things like that, and he's known as the Reaper because he's like one of the best snipers of all time. So those type of books get me going a little bit more, I would say, because I already studied psychology. I look at tests and things like that, and then I can go in with an open mind and kind of read into a book psychologically. You can do that with almost any book, and it's a lot of fun. Jiu-jitsu. Woke. Yeah, I would say if you're really wanting to, there's market psychology books. I can't remember which one. I don't think I've read this one, but there was one that I was looking into recently that I want to get down, and I wonder if someone's read it before. The Art of Game Theory was pretty interesting. The Psychology of Money. Yeah, The Psychology of Money. I think that was it. Psychology of Money is the next thing that I really wanted to read. The Psychology of Money, that's the book that everyone touts that I haven't read yet, and I really want to read it. So it gets a lot of press, if you will. I don't know. Trading Psychology 2.0, I'll look that one up as well. I'm trying to get more in the reading game, especially as weather gets nice. The Enemy, Rich Dad Poor Dad. My brother, Rich Dad Poor Dad, I'm not a big fan of personally. But here's the thing. I haven't read it, but the things that I've heard from my brother who has read it, I'm like, I don't know about that one, but they say some very obvious things, I think. Oh shoot, what was it? Trading Psychology 2.0. I just want to see how that one lines up with how I think about markets, but yeah, The Psychology of Money is a great one that I need to read. because everyone, literally a ton of people say that that's one of the basic like books that you need to read to be a good trader, and that's funny that I haven't read it. Marco's like, the Bible's pretty good too. Yo, facts. I thought about writing a book. I've actually started writing a book before, but now when I started to write the book, it was more of a self-help book. And then now that I've like thought about it more and more, the pages that I have, I really like it, but I kind of wanted to make it like a psychology of trading kind of book, or relating things that are in the stock market to real life. Okay, see ya. Have fun. The Bible should be the first book. Kind of facts. My wife like is she actually used to be a Bible study teacher for children. The thing is, it's just with me and that the psychology of money and trading psychology books, I'm like, I've kind of already put myself through the ringer, so I want to see if I'm interested in those. You should call it Trade Like Water. Actually, yeah, I probably will. Like, J-Rod, don't you think, like, I've been through all of these moments, I think, that they're going to talk about in that book. Like, I've been physically through them. Maybe it'll be a nice laugh to bring back some old memories of some bad fucking times. That's a dope name for a book, yeah. Trade Like Water, I don't know what made me say it, but it was when I first started to put together the course, was when I started saying it, when we first made the YouTube channel, when I started to work on the course, I started to say Trade Like Water because it just sounds like the best way to say, be an adaptable trader. Still a good reminder. The Bruce Lee of trading. He trades like Huwata! Thank God my wife's gone, or else I'd be embarrassed. When you put water into anything, it shapes to it. That's why we always use the river metaphor, right? You mold around it. Gotta go, bro. See ya. He's like, after that, I'm out of here. J-Rod's like, I can't do it. A couple YouTubers stole it. Who? Dan, who stole it? Who stole it? Thanks, J-Rod. I hope you have a great day. Where do I see the SPY closing today? I'm not too worried about the close. I'm more worried about when we actually test 605. I think it's very likely that if we do close the end of the day at 605 to see another rug pull kind of moment, or some kind of flush in the morning again. So that's what I'd be really watching for, but I want to be aware that this could do all of this, sit down here, and then we could see that upward move on Tuesday to go to a daily expected move. But so where would it end for the SPY? No idea, but I think at some point we're going to test 605. Y'all all ripped off Bruce Lee. Wait. What? You guys know, I've never seen a Bruce Lee movie. You guys know that, right? The Stocks channel? Who the hell is stealing my words, my phrases? I've never seen a Bruce Lee movie, to be totally honest. And everyone in the chat's gonna hate me for that. Oh, he says be like water? I didn't know that. Calvin, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you being here, buddy. What is it? The Stocks channel. I'm gonna watch his videos. Wait, this guy's... Wait, he's bigger than me? Yo, that's my fear, though. That is one of my fears. One of my fears about being a YouTuber is... Okay, unsubscribing. One of my fears about being a YouTuber is I post my thing, and then just 30 minutes later, someone rips off my analysis. That's a good thing if he's bigger than me and stealing my stuff. Hey, maybe he just came up with it himself. We'll give him that you know, I'm not here to hate on people. Maybe he came up with it himself. Who knows? Oh, that's too much of a. It's just the way you said it was a surprise. Like, he's bigger. Well, I would assume if someone's stealing from me, they'd be smaller. That's why I'm like, if he's bigger than me, he might not even be. Like, he's 8 times bigger than me. So the fact that he would take something from me seems less likely, so he might have just came across it himself. Is the stocks channel good? I don't think I've ever watched one. Orb strategy indicator. I don't think so. Oh, the open. Okay, hold on. Best used on a 5-minute chart. It plots the opening 30 minutes high and low of the ticker. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't trade 5-minute charts though. I don't trade them. I'm just showing how you can look into them. To just like when things are looking messy, sometimes a 5-minute chart does clear things up a little bit. That's all I was really trying to do with a 5-minute chart. Gold starting to make another little 30-minute move to the upside, starting to curl up, but not quite seeing that positivity just yet. Still struggling at the highs, so I'm keeping my eye on that. Meh, it talks at you. I feel like I'm guilty of that sometimes too, but the big thing is, it's like, I don't care. At the end of the day though, I hope someone's not, mainly I hope someone's not taking my stuff and then trying to use my stuff to say their own videos and then try to tell people like what to do or something. It's time to work out. Let's go. Missed 10 days while on vacation in Florida. See you tomorrow. Thank you for your videos every day. Look forward to them every morning. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for being here today, buddy. Hey, hitting the gym. I got to respect that. If you write personally like biographies. Oh, okay. Yeah. The thoughts behind the action is, yeah, so that's kind of what it would be, Ephesius. It's about me. It would go through my soccer career. It would go through when I lost it would go through my business I created. It would go through the losses of those business, and then it would go into trading. And what I wanted to do was take trading situations and trading psychology and almost relate it back to real life. So it'd be a mixture of like trading or stocks, but also relating it to real life to almost be self-help. So it'd be like a little bit of both, which I thought would be very interesting. It's the motion of, you'll be bigger one day, Lucas, size doesn't matter. Yeah, that's a running joke. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Brave man to open yourself up like that. Yeah, I figure if I'm willing to put myself on the internet, I've wanted to write a book because it's a good outlet. It's a good outlet too, and to allow people like you guys who are hanging out with me almost every single day to understand what really like made me feel this type of way towards situations, which even my close family members don't know some of the things that I was writing down in the first 5 pages of that book. Tesla analysis. Arthur, let's go look at it real quick. I know we were just chatting for a little bit, but let's just remember this market's open. I know we're paying attention to that 5-minute. 5-minute held the triple divergence here, so 30-minute counter move very likely. Now we just want to see, because I think this has a high likelihood to make this shape, right? We see how it can head down. We touch that 5, we reject. Maybe we even go a little bit higher towards that 357.78. But the big thing here, and the big thing you need to just get down very, very well, is just understanding what kind of MACD we're looking at right when you look at it. If you can get really good at that quickly, it saves you a lot of time, right? Right away, you see this. It is super far away from the center line. This does not happen very, more times, right? This does not happen most of the time. A lot of the time you'll see some kind of structure to head up, right? Or you'll see that get a higher low, right? So if this wants to break down, it makes way more sense than if it wants to come all the way back. It really does. because the position of this 30-minute MACD tells me that this could go like this for a long time and still fail and cut out this low. This could go like this for a whole day tomorrow, and then by the end on Tuesday end up turning down, and then you could just be like, all right, cup and or just, you know, some form of pullback before you break through that resistance. So what I'd be really watching for here is, yes, the 30-minute confirming is awesome, but if this is going to go bearish, then this is just going to go bloop and turn back down on the MACD. If this is going to go bullish, then this 2-hour is most likely going to be able to confirm above this little area here, and then we will break through that and use that to head higher with those little 30-minute dips. Okay, so that's the two scenarios I see for Tesla at this exact moment. If we get this scenario though, and we break down, and then that 2-hour divergence still holds, the opportunity might be over here. So Tesla is actually a very, very good one to look at. So thank you for bringing it up again. This is fantastic to be looking at this point. SPY still breaking to the potential upside, that 30 minutes starting to curl. Now we have to see if there's going to be a light 5-minute pullback soon. This is the area where we start to think of pullback. Very, very light, right? Not saying this is going to be some kind of collapse. What's happening? Exactly what we talked about before, like right in this area we were talking about it. Hey, we need to get to here. Why do we think something bad or pullback, little pullback could happen here? Well, because we're going into that resistance, right? We're potentially going to go all the way up to 603 maybe, right? But when we get there, we might touch this little overbought area, and that means we might need a pullback, but we wanted that 5-minute to extend. That way, when we pull back, it's very likely it's just that, a pullback, right? Let the indicator tell you that, and then you can say, okay, so the most likely structure to actually head higher would be something like this, and then we can see a bigger move than 605 on Tuesday, right? We could see 610. But we know that even 610, would that be enough for this 30-minute to go all the way positive? Would it? We'll see. We'll see how it shapes up. But if we get this to consolidate and get that big sporadic move up to like here, we got to be watching out in case this thing just reverses back down, right? We have not made a floor. I think it is very likely to possibly see this even extend past 605 for a moment, but then reject down, and then we'll look for that 30-minute divergence. That's going to help us a lot more later on. I think that's the actual trade setup for the week that could set up. You're buying Tesla? Hey, that's fine. Make your decision, but I'm not going to decide until that 2-hour curls up. I think we have more time for that 30-minute to funk around. We got GLD trying to curl up, able to confirm the upward move just now, or 30 minutes ago, for GLD, but we have not broken through that resistance yet. So GLD, for this on GLD, first of all, confirmation from volatility, very, very nice. But GLD, we look at this 30-minute chart and we see that that is breaking to the upside above the monthly expected move again. Just a reminder that you only have a few days left in the month. So we're looking if this divergence point holds. If this divergence point does not hold, we start to violate this one, which we're even with it. We violate this one. Ooh, that would be this high here. We start to break above. You got to be a little bit cautious of this thing going to the upside again. It's been squeezing for a long time. I'm pretty confident in this, but still the 2-hour has been able to buy back up. If the 2-hour doesn't cross, I'm still going to remain in the play. 2-hour does cross, I might be out for a brief moment and right back in. We'll see. That lady hasn't sung yet, right? Instant defense, I like it. That's funny. No, this was on volatility, right? So now we're looking for that 2-hour to cross down for volatility. Let's look at this 5-minute. Is that beat up? Yeah, see how we could potentially see that next move. So I think we're paying attention to the right stuff. We're in the area where a little 5-minute pullback would be nice. If it can hold up, I think that would be best. I think we're curling down a little bit early. I would have liked us to go just a tiny bit higher, because now you still have that. Yeah, it's still open. Still open, but I think as people are really bearish, I think this is still something to pay attention to. NQ, yeah, we can look at the NQ. It's kind of similar, but we just have to blow up the time frames. The 2-hour, the big thing is look on the 2-hour RSI. This means the NQ can see a 2-hour counter move to potentially go up to 21.9K. right? That is displayed to us by the 30-minute chart. If this 30-minute, you see very obvious divergence, very obvious divergence. I don't like looking too much at 30-minute charts for the for things like the NQ, but we will this time around because we're just trying to see which way this market wants to move. If the 30-minute curls up, then the 2-hour can see that positivity, but it might only take you to the 5 and then watch out for rejection. But this is a reversal signal for the 2-hour. So that would suggest, even though the 2-hour is seriously negative, it might catch a bounce and then fail that move. That's the most likely thing. Remember what we were talking about on the NQ? Left, head, right shoulder. That's how this thing breaks down, in my opinion. We'll see what happens. Nice, SPY able to hold. Okay. I saw some red for a second. I was like, I think I want that to go a little higher. It's too still. I wish it would have. I wish I would have held my calls towards the beginning of February. Yeah, it's pretty still, but you know, Meta looked still, and it was just leaking higher. Look where Apple is at if you're part of Patreon. If it gets to 250, 250. There's a reason I keep saying 250, 250, 250. And Patreon members, you know why. It's on one of those. Is it a weekly? Is it a monthly? Go look. Yeah, the buying's still very weak. The buying is still pretty damn weak. Like, look at, I mean, just look at the volume. I mean, you got like one spike and then it still just continued down. It didn't even beat the previous one, right? We're still down. We're waiting for that explosive move. Apple, I really want to see Apple towards 250 and then make an assessment. Well, NVIDIA is going to be in a vulnerable spot either way. All of the trades with NVIDIA will be vulnerable this week because you don't know what can happen with earnings. So if you said calls, I'd be like, cool, you have 50% chance that goes wrong. You said puts, I go, you have a 50% chance that could go wrong. You have either one of those, I go, well, you have the chance of being IV crushed. Yes, Noah. So Noah is pointing out something that I don't really call it anything, but I just say, isn't it unique that when one stock that's really, when stocks in general are going down, there's always one or two stocks that are like weirdly performing well, or you get some weird news to keep the market looking okay. I think Apple was at risk of a decent 2-hour drop, 2-hour pullback, maybe a little aggressive, but 2-hour pullback. And if that would have happened, the market would not be able to do this kind of structure right now. I think it's a plan by Wall Street. They always like to, the market's going to collapse. Okay, let's keep NVIDIA higher, but since Apple's needs to come down. Oh, okay, the market's going to collapse because of NVIDIA earnings. Well, we're trying to trick people with NVIDIA earnings, so going down's okay. So I'm gonna do the. I looked on Patreon, 250 not looking good, so not bullish on that. Exactly, Duranto. Now you get it. Yeah, they do that I feel like that happens a lot, Noah. And I think it's a way to balance to keep markets elevated longer. I think your person who was guilty of that before actually was Meta. Meta was the one holding stocks up very well during a pullback in the past. And then Meta vomited, but now Apple's the one doing it. I think for this, the GLD is still looking interesting to me. I really want to see if that's going to fail. I want to look at a 5 on this, actually. Let's see if we get a hint here. No hints really from the 5 here. GLD. Oh shoot, I haven't been paying attention to the dollar at all. What's the dollar been doing with this? Okay. Okay, did the 4-hour confirm at all? 4-hour did confirm divergence for the dollar, which means I need to check on the 10-year. Ooh, wait a second here. Not really. I think we could see it move up from the 10-year and the dollar, though. We'll see. Interesting. All right, let me go look at GLD again real quick. If the dollar's making that base, that shouldn't be the best sign for GLD. But it's just like GLD does what GLD wants to do these days. Gold does what gold want to do. No, that's fine, Dan. Just make sure you always put a ticker in there, okay? NVIDIA was carrying the market. Yeah, NVIDIA saved the market once. Do you guys remember? Do you remember when we said thank you to NVIDIA this past year? Where was it? It was hold on, I gotta do both. Or was it? It was a big spike down. It was a big spike down. It might have been that July moment. Yeah, I think it was here. Was this the July moment? Yeah, I think it was August 7th. Yeah, it was August. Okay, so do you guys remember, NVIDIA gave us that great hint. We still paid attention at this time to what stocks were saying, and you got 2-hour triple divergence. Remember when we called that out? Then we said, I don't know about this drop. It's really fishy for NVIDIA to be giving triple divergence on a 2-hour when the market says, hey, we're collapsing. Like, it just seems fishy. And then we called it out, and then we all took NVIDIA. And then I think a lot of people were taking NVIDIA, and then it showed that positivity. It was one of the best moments for our channel, honestly. Because a lot of people would look at this and just be like, holy crap, what the hell is going on? I mean, look at the signals, they're garbage. But we were smart enough to look over at NVIDIA, and we said, literally, I remember saying this, if the SPY is absolutely going to collapse, then why is NVIDIA showing great reversal signals? And NVIDIA is such a big stock that we need to pay attention if this thing V-shapes in the SPY, because NVIDIA is giving great reversal signals. Great time for NVIDIA. And the best part about YouTube is, if you want to see it, you can go back and look at around August 5th to August 7th and see if we were mentioning like, yeah, this could be very bearish, but NVIDIA is giving reversal signals, so let's pay attention. Ticker O. All right, let's look. Very nice. It's a very nice move. But at this point, you gotta be saying this thing needs a 2-hour pullback. I mean, if you look at this RSI, yeah, you can see bigger moves than that. It can remain like that for a bit. This does not look like reversal signal at all, right? This is reversal signal, so that's a mean pullback. This could just be a retest coming of like $56. A 2-hour little pullback to 56 would be nice. Maybe you flag out. The reason for that is now you have 30-minute divergence. This could not be done as well, right? This is a strong move, so the 30-minute could hold up better and give you that triple divergence, right? Give you that divergence a little bit closer to the center line on the MACD and the RSI, but RSI showing triple divergence, MACD showing a divergence, so 2-hour has a good probability to turn down from here. I wish I had monthly expected moves for this. That would make it really, really nice for the stock. But 2-hour pullback looks likely. Earnings around the corner, though. Oh, earnings today. So never mind. Don't read into any of that. The way it wants to head higher is this, right? Get there, go like this. But you could see none of that because earnings might do some funky stuff with this bad boy. So just be aware that earnings is there. Unfortunate. We would love to read into it, but earnings, rough spot. 5-minute, if this thing curls down, this is what we were aware of in this. This is why I wanted to stay live a little bit longer so you guys could see how when I take a short-term trade, how I'm thinking about it. And I go, well, if it's a really short-term trade, aka Wednesday, I still might want to manage that risk even if this does cross down, right? I might want to manage that risk even if it's positive and then just get right back into play. Let people get bearish again, right? Just in case this is going to do that, I'm going to be potentially out of the play if this crosses on the MACD, right? That would cross around this level, maybe break even, see that turn down, then get back up, and then we see that move to 605. So I'm still just reading into it. Might even scale out a little bit of profit here just to make the play okay. because we're reaching the point where I think we need to pull back. So if I want to, I could take half my profit right now and feel pretty comfortable. Then if we see the 5 minute just do this and this, I can add that money back in without risking it further. Or I could manage and get back in with the rest. Palantir, you're asking, okay, so Palantir, just so you're aware, we've been over that a lot today. Palantir, if you're really asking about it, it has divergence to bounce right now. Okay, we could see a counter trend move all the way up, and we actually gave you these levels since you are saying you're going potentially taking a play. There are some key levels to upside we're paying attention to. Now look at this 5 minute. How likely do you think it is this 5 minutes gonna stop the bleeding? Doesn't look the most likely. Now the 30 minute, when that curls up, we're still thinking, you know, Palantir most likely to end the week here in this green box. But that doesn't mean it can't see a good move and then fail that move. We'll see what happens with it going forward. But some key levels to have for Palantir. Monthly expected move, and you're going into the end of the month, so just be careful if this even goes high up, because by Friday it's very likely to end up in this green box. But you do have the divergence. That's why we're talking about it, right? You have this, and you have this. So if you're planning on taking a short position now, we talk about good decisions and bad decisions. Most of the time, that would be a bad decision. According to what things are looking like right now, that seems like we are more likely to, yeah, we could see that flash move down. I don't know what type of trader you are. Like 5 minute chart can easily turn down. That's fine. But I'm saying the 30 minute could turn up, and that's a big deal. Last minute monies, because you're cool. Hey, thank you so much, Justin. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 10 in Canadian. Can we look at Starbucks? Yes, we can. Now, I just want to make it very clear. Palantir is showing 30-minute divergence. It has not confirmed. It can confirm. So short positions, usually you want to be opening up with the reversal signal on the upside, not when you have the reversal signal that could make you bounce. That's all I'm going to say. This is about decision making, and that's it. We'll leave these drawings up on the chart and see how they plan out. 90 cents USD, you're welcome. I didn't even know that. Hey, I'll take it. Yeah, let's look at Starbucks. You know, any donation's a good donation. You know, I'm not going to hate on you. I like just the fact that people are willing to give any kind of money would be amazing to me. You guys work hard for your money. You hear me say that all the time. 2-hour triple divergence on the RSI for Starbucks. You're in a very vulnerable spot for Starbucks where the daily is showing. This is like Meta. What happened to Meta? This is like Palantir. What happened to Palantir? This is like Meta. What happened to, that's Palantir. Let's see what happened to Meta. That's Meta. It's almost like JP Morgan. That's JP Morgan, right? And it's starting to bounce from where we want it to. So very, very nice. But this looks like even gold potentially, right? Just way up there. And eventually it's going to vomit. That's what I think about Starbucks. I think eventually it will vomit. And you have some signals that suggest that that top could be coming now. But do you have a monthly expected move to help you out? So I shorted on Friday when the 2-hour crossed. Okay, let's look at that confirmation, see if that was a good one. It is. That's a great one, okay? That's a good confirmation. Hopefully, I mean, even this bar here, good confirmation, right? But anywhere in there, pretty decent. And then you just want to make sure that 30 minutes not curling up. Now, the 30 minute is curling up. What does that mean? Well, if it is still in range of going positive, you have the opportunity to make a lower high, or since it's still close to the center line, you could test this high, go make a new one. So this technically for me, if I had this trade, would be a management of risk. And then if it would fail again, I would be right back in the play for myself. That's what I like to do. Because you did actually see a lower move than here. So lower high would make a lot of sense. Yeah, lower high would make a lot of sense here because you did cut this. You came down to lower levels, but something like this can fail, and then that's when I'd, reapply. So for me, the reason that I would just get out of this is just because I don't know if this is going to continue that positivity. I don't have a monthly expected move or anything, so I can't really be confident holding on to it for that kind of move. If I have a monthly expected move, I can treat it like a scale-in if I want. But for Starbucks, it's hard to decide that when I don't have those. Yeah, so potentially your stop was actually maybe here. Weirdly enough, your stop might have been here. And that's just because you see the resistance, the resistance, the resistance, the resistance. So if you break through that, you're kind of through resistance, and the next one is here. So if you break through that, you can take off, but we also could just be setting up that divergence point again. That's why it helps so much more when you have weekly and monthly expected moves. It helps you a ton more, because if I knew that there was a monthly move right here, and or maybe the monthly move is here, I might be looking for that 30-minute divergence outside of this, right? I've had the 2-hour one. Now I'm getting that fake out move maybe, and then if that would curl back down, bad things would potentially happen. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's kind of like, that's why a lot of these types are hard to trade, but that's why a monthly expected move helps you a lot more. That's why we were talking about Meta. That's why we were talking about GLD. And we'll see if GLD still plays out, right? Crazy things can happen, but Meta was a great example of waiting till you get really close to a monthly expected move, and then you look at the reversal signals you have, and you notice the 2-hour divergence confirms, and then you head down. For me, Starbucks, just because we're doing a lot of time on it here, for me, Starbucks is creating those 2-hour signals, but what if it wants to do it one more time? And the way that it does it one more time curls up at 30 minutes. So management and then turn back down would potentially be the opportunity for a short, in my opinion. SPY 5-minute crossing down. Ooh, okay, 5-minute up. There you go. 30-minute able to do it? 30-minute doing it on the previous bar. So this is very likely to be higher lows if we ever see a pullback from this. 605 definitely in play now. I believe that too. I think we might, because we're not into the end of the day yet, we're on a 5-minute chart, just be open to a little flag or some kind of pull down. Maybe it's a little aggressive since volatility is higher, but I'd be looking for higher low. Yeah, to calculate those expected moves, look, you can ask, I highly encourage, if you want to get the calculation, just ask Samson. You can literally take that over to AI right now, just because it's easier than me explaining all of it. Take it over to AI, ask that same question, and it'll tell you the calculation, but things you need are the closing price on the end of the month. You need the implied volatility for the option expiration at the end of the next month, so that you know that. You have to estimate, or not estimate, you have to calculate the amount of days in between where you're calculating from and where it will expire, right? And then that should throw out a number for you that turns out to be the implied move, right? It's just, there's some little things in there, and that's why we try to do it. We try to give the simple method on Robinhood, because there are mistakes that can be made. Tesla finally got it. Yeah, we're still seeing if that'll cup and handle in some way. But I think this is really saying, like, here's that bounce we were looking for. I got no monthly. Yeah, that's what makes it difficult. It's unlucky, Justin. I wish I had a monthly for you. If you're someone who's taken the course and you're still asking how to calculate the moves, at least do the Robinhood or the method that we give you on whatever platform you're trading on. You can do it on almost any platform, or use Yahoo Finance if you're trying to calculate. But yeah, the Robinhood method, I used it for a long time and it worked really well. So don't think that it's bad just because it's on Robinhood. You can do it on Webull, you can do it on any trading platform, rather than doing the calculation. It's a lot faster too, especially if you don't have an Excel, like a spreadsheet like I do. Even the spreadsheet takes a while to calculate, like plug all the numbers in. But when you do it on Robinhood, you're just like click, click, okay, there's the move, there's the expected move. Plus or minus whatever. It's just a little bit off. Tesla, the cup and handle's to the downside on the 30-minute. If you will, you would see, oh, where are we going to? Okay, we see that. We see this. Oh, we don't have reversal signals, and we have a super deep MACD. So this is the most likely thing as it stands right now for Tesla. Obviously, there's always two ways to look at it, right? That's why we trade like water. That's why we came up with that. I've never watched a Bruce Lee. I didn't even know Be Like Water was a Bruce Lee thing. I'm mad. Someone's stealing my dinghy. 2 hour. If the 2 hour would cross up, you could say high or low. You could say double bottom, right? So if the 2 hour crosses up, that's even better. Super deep, Mac. Yeah, okay. Ticker NVAX. I think someone's asked me to look at this before. NVAX 2 hour divergence right away. If that could confirm, I'm happy. I don't. It's not that bad. 2 hour divergence, and then daily, if we're turned down, that's bad. But you see that the daily looks like, hey, if that 2 hour divergence produces, it could produce. Here's the thing with NVAX. E on the screen, right? So 50-50 immediately. So ask me a week after earnings. Watch now, this confirmed up. And a great hint if this is going to continue to go up. Well, one, oh, we finally barely got to the top of this, but one will be if the 5 minute curls, but the 30 minute's not able to. So does the selling pile on to where the 30 minute cross is, or does the 5 minute just see some kind of drop and then just build right back up? I like it. It is. Yeah, I'm just blind to it. I did watch that. We watched a movie yesterday that was really good. Oh, shoot. It had Anna Kendrick in it, and I like Anna Kendrick. I think she's great. I think she was like, it was some serial killer thing. It was very, very entertaining and very interesting. You guys need a little movie to watch. That's a potentially good one, but if you like to watch evil get caught. You watching Love is Blind? No, I hate Love is Blind. Even the people on Love is Blind hate Love is Blind. Woman of the hour, yeah, actually. Lucas, there's an options button in the bottom right side. I won't be able to tackle it today, but I can write it in my notes here. I haven't watched The Accountant. I've seen it. I've seen previews of it, but I haven't watched it. RGTI. We haven't looked at that in a long time. I am so down to look at RGTI, and then I probably have to hop off of here. 30 minute. Once again, 30 minute divergence. I actually really like this. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Oh wow. This is great. Thank you so much for bringing it to our attention. RGTI. If you start to look at this, you're going, wow, these are some big moves. So always be aware that that could get tighter first, right? But you do have this going on. So if I have a weekly expected move, that'd be nice, but I don't think it would do anything because that was Friday into Monday. So probably nothing there, but this could mean we're going to the upside weekly expected move. That would be very cool. 30 minute divergence here, starting to potentially confirm, saying that the 2 hour divergences might confirm, saying that the daily chart might confirm to the upside. So very interesting. We just got to see if earnings is going to run into us. It is on Thursday, so that's unfortunate, but RGTI could be in for something here. We'll see if that's able to take place. 30 minute divergence, 2 hour divergence. Once again, it's just a signal. It's just you have that earnings, so it kind of makes it 50-50. But like I said, if you're good with managing risk and things like that, you're open to taking a time that could be more volatile for RGTI, you can make your own decisions. I won't be playing it, even though the signals look pretty damn good, to be totally honest. I do not mind those at all. Did you look at gold? Yeah, we've been looking at it pretty much all day, Jeff, but I am more than happy. Oh, let me get out of that. I am more than happy to look at it again. I'm looking at it on my other screen, looking at the next divergence point that it is holding. Gold on the 30-minute chart is still holding the divergence points right now, right? Just very, very flat. I still want that 30-minute to curl back down, right? We do have an expected move, a new expected move for the week where gold could do that, it could do that, right? So we need to understand if this is curled up on a 30-minute, there is risk of breaking through this and seeing it go higher. And everyone is talking about gold in the futures market getting to 3,000, which means we should be open to that. Even if GLD has major sell signals and a monthly expected move, we still want to be paying attention to our risk, even though we know it's 68% more likely to see it go like that right now. Right, it's more likely, even if we see some kind of upward surge, to do that by the end of it all. And that's just because of monthly expected moves and what was priced in from the options. It doesn't get it right every time. That's why it's only 68%. So we have to be like, okay, right now, I don't really want to be in those shorts because this could break through. But if this would curl again, I would want to be in that position potentially. So for me, I'm kind of scaling in at these levels, right? I'm scaling in here. And then if this 2 hour is able to really like confirm up or something like that, I might be out of the play. But I have an extended option for this, right? I have like the 14th. I have all the way over here right now. So I'm just looking for something like this. I'm just looking for this. And I can make plenty of money off the move. And then it's probably going to bounce. And then we're probably going to maybe fall down again. So I can reapply that position later if I want to keep shorting. Right? I potentially should have done two more weeks further out. That probably would have been a little bit better. You're showing it March 6th. Yeah, let me check again, but I'm seeing... Is that down the line a little bit? Oh, March 6th. Okay, next week. Okay, so this could all play out and be fine. Okay, sorry about that. I misread this. I just saw Thursday and I just went, oh, that's this week. No, the 6th. So that actually can still be okay. So this is a signal that I would be looking at. Mainly the 2 hour one, but the 30-minute for maybe a first position. And then I'd really be watching this 30-minute and seeing if it can take back that 5. But yeah, looking for confirmation here. You've gotten it on the RSI, gotten it with the price action. Just looking for that MACD, which is starting to cross now. 2 hour divergence as well. So yes, this can see a bounce before the earnings. What's the daily chart look like? Oh, and it's by the center line. That's nice. Gold starting to break a little bit to the upside. Yeah, I think this might have a meta moment where it goes like, ah, and then just drops. We'll see. Gold's been really good. It's hard to bet against gold, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do, so it's going to be difficult. All right, 5 minute for the SPY reacting to a great level. Once again, we want to pay attention if that catches the next bounce pretty quick here. If that completely falls through and crosses down that 30-minute, that's when it gets ugly again, right? But that would be a very bad, you can see how that'd be bad. It'd just be like, oh, this is a complete fake out. I think that's way less likely to happen. I think you're more likely to do something like this, then you get up to that 605 using all this to get there. I'm going to take the closing bars here and just say, hey, we're making some kind of head and shoulders at this level. You kind of see how that adds up. So one little pullback on the 5 minute. And I'd be happy. Huge help. Thank you, Alex. I really appreciate you saying that. And I know sometimes we go into 5 minutes and things don't add up, right? It doesn't happen, but this time the 5 minute was able to catch that good bounce, and now we're looking if that can curl up on the 30. So very nice. Keep an eye on the 30-minute. Thought about a month of time in some puts. Yeah, just giving yourself more time, it'll make you feel less stressed all the time. It's just talking about decisions, right? Something that I've decided a little while ago, pretty decent amount of time ago, was just, why am I trying to do everything with 3 days to expiration? Why am I trying to do everything with 5 days to expiration? What if I just gave myself 10 days? What if I gave myself 30 days, you know? And it's just caused everything to change for me for the better, I would say. It's made me a lot more calm trading, which is very nice. First will be placed on administrative leave starting today. Wow. Dude, I kind of said this, but someone brought up, like, Willow, you brought up, like, hey, if Elon Musk messaged me to give a report on, like, how I was productive this week, okay, we kind of talked about that. Let's talk about the response that people are actually giving. People in higher positions are encouraging people at lower positions to not even respond to the email. Now, who in the chat has worked in the real world, not for the government, and thought that if your boss asks you to tell you, or someone auditing the company asked you to say how you were productive, and you say nothing back, do you think that's a good decision? Someone asks, hey, what do you do? And you don't respond. Do you think what answer do you think that is? Well, if you take it for what it actually is in reality, you said nothing. Sorry for the bad N, but so if you really think about it, if someone asked, hey, how were you productive in the last week? And you don't respond, you just responded. Nothing. Even if you do something and you don't respond, someone who looks into that is going to say, wow, they must not be doing a lot. That's all I'm saying. It's not a smart thing to do. The Bobs want to talk to you. Oh, God, what a movie. I might watch that movie. What do you do all day? Nah, not a lot. That one dude. Well, that's the thing, too. You know, but at least you're willing to lie. You know, at least you're willing to respond. At least you care about your job enough to lie, you know? Like, at least you care enough about your job to lie. You know, you're like, wow, I really need this job. I wasn't productive. I need to lie a little bit. You know what a person in that situation should do? Tell the truth. You know what a person in that situation should do? Say, hey, Elon, this is the email. Hey, Elon, I wanted to start off with this email just saying I respect what you're doing. I appreciate it as an American. I'll be honest with you. I think I could have been more productive. Here's a few things that I got done, but I think I could have been more productive. And now that, you know, we have this administration, I would like to be more productive. Would you have suggestions on things that I could do to really benefit the American people? That's the email I would send if I was doing nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna need those TPS reports. Exactly, and you give that guy a raise. You show that you care. What people in power, I guess, on the left, or people who are against this from Elon Musk and Trump and the administration, really it's against the American people, because the American people voted in the president so that he would do this, like most people did. So what you're doing is you're saying no to the American people. You're disrespecting the American people. What you need to do is, hold yourself accountable. Once again, it relates to trading, right? Hold yourself accountable for your decisions. If you decide to do stupid, unproductive stuff, make bad decisions, that is a bad decision. To try to not be productive at your job is probably a bad decision. Well, then you're probably going to get the hammer put on you. How would you manage the GLD if it has further upside moments? So I'm still waiting, because this is not any kind of buying. I want to see when volume comes in, if possible. Its volume is being very, very weird right now. Hold on. What the fuck is going on? Okay, there it goes. So with GLD, something I'm interested in is this, and I want to see which way that volume goes first. So for GLD, you see that we have this declining volume kind of on the run up. We had one moment where it went a little higher, but declining here. So I am paying attention to volume at this point. You guys probably don't see me paying attention to volume very often, but I'm looking at it for this move because I'm trying to decide. Now, if we start to see a big green bar like this and it has a good amount of volume in it, I might have to make a decision because that can extend, right, on lighter volume afterwards. But if I see that go up on light volume, and then we see that produce a big red bar, I'm going to be happy about it, right? If it's light volume, I'm not that scared. If it's big volume at the end of the bar, then I'll most likely be managing something. So I just want to take it into consideration. I don't want another meta moment to happen for me. You guys know I had those meta puts. I was scaling in, and then once I finally got out, I said, oh, okay, this is good. I'm going to look for that 30-minute swing to shut, and then it just never came back. It confirmed the 2-hour divergence, and it never came back, and I'm kicking myself to this moment. Thank God for JP Morgan for setting something up for me, though, right? So I didn't have to miss out on much. So yeah, I'd just be very interested to see that with gold, GLD, looking at volume and things like that. I'll keep my eye on it, and I'll probably be posting to Patreon if I manage my trade, just so people are aware this time. NVIDIA needs to bust a damn move. Bust a move. You know what I'm saying. As long as we above 599.75, I'm holding. Well, so where would this retest if it really wanted to? It's right in between these lines. It's right in between the previous resistance and the potential for support again. It's right in here that you would retest for a 5-minute pullback. Double top on Apple at the sake of the level, end of January 15th, about to cross down. Same level as January 15th. Get all those options to theta, then it'll go. Yeah, man. Yeah, get that theta, get that decay in there, Richard. It's up a few cents, then down a few, then back up, then down a few. Yeah, it's just going to sit there and let people put all their bets in before the earnings. And then it's going to see one crazy move before earnings, maybe, like right before. And then you'll see everyone place their bets. And whoever has more puts their calls. Whoever can get hurt the most, you know. People buy a bunch of puts, but the IV is really, you know, potentially high at that point, and then and then it actually does go down, but it doesn't go down aggressively enough, and so those people who bought puts can't even win. Ugh. Well, that's why I don't. I just say it again. That's why I don't like earnings. I've made the mistake too many times, right? What is it? Fool me once. What is it? Fool me once. Shame on what? You? Fool me twice. Shame on me. So I've been fooled twice, so I've felt the shame. I have felt shameful in those earnings trades to the point where I feel shame every time I see that E. Just want my 46 to turn to 200. Can? I really want to get into trading without having to use options. I haven't figured it out yet, but I know you can use other apps through TradingView. You don't have to do, and what I like to do is I like to keep things very separate so I don't accidentally, so you guys probably wonder, like, why don't I have any of my accounts connected to this? Well, I've made mistakes with everything separated and accidentally sold. We've done that before on this channel. I've been like, oh crap, I just sold my position, right? Because I'm clicking around so much, I never want to make a mistake. And I was worried about that before I was a YouTuber. So I've always kept things very separate. What I would say is if you don't want to use options, just open up the time frames and be willing to take those daily swings, right? Look for daily divergence. Look for 2-hour divergence, right? You don't have 2-hour divergence right now, but the last time you did, look what happened, right? The last time you did, look what happened. And maybe you just use the strategies on the shorter time frames to figure out a good place to buy, and then look at this run. I mean, this isn't something to be sad about. This is a great 5% in a week and a half. It's a very good thing, and if you do that consistently, you can beat the SPY, which is great, right? So you don't have to. And then if you want to take downward moves, it's pretty simple. You could either use it as sell signals right? So wait for the actual short look to actually just sell. Or it could be a matter of, it's all decision making, but it could be a matter of it could be a matter of, hey, maybe I want to start looking at SQQQ and SPXS. Maybe those are the two, maybe these are the only things I trade. Maybe I only trade SPXL, XPSS, TQQQ, and SQQQ. Right? It's kind of like our buddy in here that only does SVIX, right? Martial Law only does SVIX and UVIX, right? So like, I think it was Corey who said it, right? So Corey, I would actually say if you're in a good enough financial spot where you can make, and even if you just have 10 grand, you can literally not touch options, work without options for 5 to 10 years and be in a great financial spot if you're doing things with good decision making. You can grow bigger than $10,000, and that's the overall goal, right? Is to take 10,000 and maybe turn it into another 20, right? Turn it into 20,000. Okay, well that could take 5 years to do, and that's why it's like, that's why people do options. That's why investing is a lot more juicy looking to people like that. But I mean, to put it in perspective, the last time we had weekly divergence was when I called the bottom. I believe that was back in October of 2022, maybe. If you really just look at investing and you go, well, this is where I'm supposed to buy. Okay, awesome. When will I sell? Well, when I start to see those big sell signals, maybe, right? You could say as an investor, maybe you're looking for weekly signals to confirm. Well, you confirmed weekly signal here, right here. So that means potentially you had a good hold all the way up into this red bar. That's 52% in 2 years. That's very, very good. But if you can get good at these little moments like this as well, you can save yourself this. You can treat this as take profit, back in. Take profit, back in. Take profit, back in because of NVIDIA. And then it would be take profit, and now the signals look too bad for me to stay as an investor. My man's been streaming, man. I told you. Someone was like, man, that guy's whipped. No, see? If you keep it cool with the wife, I get to hang out a little bit longer. Now, I do have to get to some other things today, so I'm starting to put some stuff on the back burner because, let's just be real, I'm having a little bit of fun today, right? We're trying to show how this thing would want to go to the upside. The bad part for me is you're still pretty light volume. See how volume is still coming down. So you got an explosive move coming very soon, probably by the end of the day. And we got to see if that's going to be up or down. Right now it would suggest potentially actually up. But it is light volume on the upward move. So that's why we're watching this 5 minute very carefully. God, if we start to see 5 minute divergence here, I'm going to be pissed. 250, Corey, you have to watch out. You're looking for that 2 hour pullback. It's very likely to see a 2 hour pullback, okay? Just so you're aware, it is very likely to see that 2 hour pullback, but it might need that test of 250 first, which I don't think it's gotten there just yet. I think it's like $2.50, $3 off, right? Let me look. Yeah, you're 2.5 off, but so you're mainly just saying like, hey, can this 30 minute curl back up? Actually, you got that to curl back down. That's not good. That's not good. I thought this would continue up like this, go to that 250. But as the SPY's about to get that bounce, it really seems to me Apple's going to go to 250, and then we'll see what happens. So SPY's going up right now on extremely light volume. The big volume was on the down, right? Big volume was on the down, then it's been coming down ever since we started to, really once we started to bounce, once we found that little flooring in here, volume's been shitty ever since. This guy is lying, his wife ain't home. Nope, she's not anymore. I was trying to buy time. I knew if I, okay, hopefully she's not watching. But I knew if I bought time by saying, yeah, I'll just go another 20 minutes or so, like we did that like 45 minutes ago, I knew that they were having a girls' day and that I could stay on longer if I could last that long. Yeah. Just like AMC and GME, it's all about the manipulation. Just ratted yourself out. Whatever. She wouldn't even care. She'd be happy that I went up there for 2 minutes. She's happy with me working. Because my wife knows the more I work, the more maybe nice stuff she's allowed to buy. Well played. Snaps for the boy. Nice. Big volume down and low volume up. Well, it just means that the downward move had actual bigger volume in it. Now you have not a lot of trades maybe even taking place, but the trades that are taking place are overall in the upward direction. It's just really light on the volume, which means you haven't seen that actual buyer come in and be like, yes, I want to buy the S&P 500. That's what that means, right? If this bar right here had a bigger green on it, that would mean that people tried to sell in this area. That's what this would mean. People were trying to sell, but the buyers were much stronger. And so then that would have really elevated you, right? Would have gave more confidence because you're beating the sellers, and the sellers go underwater right away if it continues to go up, and boom, they have to get out of those positions. Day traders aren't happy, right? But that didn't happen. You just saw a buy come in. No real sellers clamped in on it. The next bar, the sellers tried a little bit, but not too much. The next 2 bars later, they tried a bit, but even less. That's how it goes. We get the boys live, you know what I'm saying? Oh wait, what did Corey say? You might have extended. I just realized my MACD looks different than yours. On mine, Apple is curling up on the 30-minute. It's fine if you. It depends on where you're at with your strategy, Corey. I don't know how fine your strategy is, the way you've been talking, but I don't like to use extended hours. I'd rather just look at futures markets to see direction, and then that could be, like I said, that could be changing this year. If dark pool keeps increasing, we're gonna have to change. We're gonna have to be water. We're gonna have to adapt. Well, that's what I think, Noah. I think it might be quick. I think it could be a quick one, kind of like Meta. I think you could just see a spike, and then it just drops right back down a day later, like Meta did. All right, gold's trying to break through here. I'm trying to decide, see if we violated some stuff. Like, I gotta manage this thing. It's a bummer because gold looks like such a great play. I should have just taken more extended out. That's my mistake. You are how you trade. Yeah. So if you don't have things to make things less confusing for you looking at charts, then you're going to remain confused, and your plays are probably going to confuse. It's going to stress you out. Oh boy. Tons of open interest for March 21st. The volume is crazy. I gotta check that. Yeah, 265. For some reason, I thought I had 270 the other day, remember? And I was like, wait, we're at 270. I was reading the price, not my strat. Wait, what did you just say I wanted to look at? Open interest, that's right. Good check. Ooh, why are people are really 270 is super bearish. So a lot of people bearish on 270 for today. So very unlikely to break that today. 257 put for next. But for the week, you're actually at a 0.55, so 263 is the call wall. I think we're going to close below 263 then, maybe for GLD by the end of the week. That'd be crazy. Wow. 263. That open interest at 263 for the end of the week is crazy. That is a very big call wall, and you're above it. So I wonder if that order, I wonder if they've been in this for a little bit. Yeah. Keeping M75 call, volume is crazy. What is the volume on this? Yeah, see, it's still wonky even on the 2 hour, but still coming down for that 30-minute for the time being. The bigger spikes were the sells. Now you're just only getting buys. We'll see. Oh, here we go. 5 minute. Might be even lackluster. Okay. Watch for something quick. All right, watch for something quick, just in case we need to get all the way up to here first, right? Watch for something quick if this is still going to happen like this. But this is adding, oh, and then it gives it away. The volume is so what's the volume on the daily? I was going to say, volume here isn't that great, but we'll see by end of day. All right, it's time. It's that time, guys, and I'm sorry to do it to you, but I do have to hop off now. Gotta go grab some lunch and work on some other things that I got going on. So thank you guys so much for being here today. Hopefully you enjoyed our little 5-minute day, right, for the SPY. Appreciate you guys hanging out for most of the time. That was fantastic, and I hope that this video was helpful. Did we think it was a little bit helpful today? I really hope it was. Thank you guys for the good questions. Thank you guys for pointing some stuff out to us, right? Starbucks, I think, was interesting. There are some interesting things going on. Everyone focused on Apple, I get it. But overall, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it. And I hope you have all the luck in the world with your trades. And I'll see you later tonight on YouTube for those daily expected moves, okay? Wow, crazy, right? When we have small expected moves, the SPY kind of sitting in the middle. When we have small expected moves, we violate them. When we have big expected moves, we haven't seen much, probably till the end of the day. All right, guys. Visa, yeah, let's check on Visa real quick. Just real quick here. What move are you trying to compare it to? JP Morgan to go lower? This is where you really want to be paying attention for bounces. So the 2 hour here, looking at the 30-minute, you see 30-minute divergence. This actually tells us that the 2 hour is likely to bounce. Still negative, but close enough where this move wouldn't seem absurd, right? To double top or something. But I'd just be watching for, hey, do we test this level and make good structure to head up, right? Or do we test this level and completely curl down this 2 hour chart, right? If that 2 hour curls up and then curls back down, we would say lower prices, and then we'd look for divergences and things like that. But 30-minute divergence does suggest that the 2 hour could catch a bounce here for Visa. Sorry, Noah. Sorry to do it to you. But this is where you'd look for rejection. This is great 2 hour divergence. So daily scale has crossed. You most likely aren't done just yet, right? You most likely aren't done. It's just you're going to see that counter move at times. And this is one of those times where you just see the 30-minute divergence and you go, okay, this could be where I see that counter move. Look for that to fail, right? A lot of people who short or do daily like 0 DTE, and they see something like this, or maybe something like that, they're still looking for, even if they see all of this, they might still be looking for that tag of the 5 to then see that drop, right? So that's what I'd be watching early on, but just know that 2 hour can curl up because you have those divergence points now. How can you, well, I would say, is there a reason she's bitching at me? Like, that's my fault. That would be my first reaction. Someone's a lot less likely to bitch at you if you're not doing things to bitch about. And then 2, if I'm not doing anything and she's not telling me exactly what I'm doing to cause her to do that, then I would say I probably picked kind of poorly. Not to hate on anyone, but hey, thank you guys for joining, though. I do have to take off. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Have a good day. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace. File an HR. All right, guys, I'm out. You guys are getting funny, so I keep reading. I'll talk to you guys later. See you, J-Rod. Later, buddy.